of really no consequence. If the meat of the document is about the way in which things are measured, planned, used, etc., saying that it's referencing a non-rotating flat Earth, that's more pertinent than simply an assertion the Earth is a globe. Now, if they had all kinds of trajectories and mathematics and simulations based on globe mathematics, that'd be a much different scenario. And Jem is right. If they did have that, we wouldn't know because we haven't read the other 6 pages. Now, if Jem had actually let me finish my sentence, instead of being a paranoia hyperbolic, he might actually get somewhere with some conversations he has.
Do it. I asked you to post the other 6 pages, and all I've got is objections to why we should bother to look at the rest of it. And you guys are supposed to be truth seekers. You're supposed to.
Dude, did you even listen to what I just said?
What? Nothing about
just
posting.
talk through it.
No, I listened, and you didn't post the document. It's useless.
Dude, what I said has no relevance to whether you even have a document to look at. Does it?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Any reference you make to this document, which you just did, is irrelevant until we know what the document says. And we don't know what the document says. We know what the title of the document says and what one line from page 7 of the document says. That does not give us a full understanding of the document. Only children would try to pretend that it does.
Jem, you obviously didn't hear what I said at all.
You can have another go if you want. I think you just rambled on about how it wouldn't matter if we couldn't see the rest of the document. I disagree.
No, that's not what I said at all.
I think to get a full understanding of this document, you need the full document.
Jem, your assertion was that if it simply says the Earth is a globe elsewhere, or if it simply references the Earth as a globe, that is somehow as compelling as trajectory math, etc.
That was not my assertion at all in any way. I didn't make that assertion whatsoever. I used that
pretty much that.
I used that as an extreme example when Miggy was saying that we didn't need to see the rest of the document. And I said, well, what if it said the Earth's a globe on every page? I was being a bit flippant, I admit. But, what if it did? You need obvious.
Well, if it did, then my assertion stands.
Well, my point would be, I don't think it would say that, but I do think it's more likely to have a full explanation of what this thing is all about. And from that, we could all gain an understanding of why it says what it says. It could be that there's a flat, non-rotating Earth. I don't think the evidence, the document will reveal that. I think if we see it all, it will reveal something else. But at the moment,
I'll put it to you like this.
At the moment, you guys are happy in your ignorance.
Most globe arguers agree that in certain scenarios, even when it doesn't actually mention it, that to take it as if it is flat and non-rotating is much simpler. And effectively, the tolerances are so small or the effects are so negligent that it really doesn't matter. And if you did calculate it this way, it would be the most practical, usable way to do it, because all those other things are so inconsequential. Because most of the time, when these arguments come up, it's where people are in charge of the thing.
That's what I said.
It's like you could correct it.
That was my argument, and that was my argument. Right, yes. But I think you made it better than I did. I have to say, but yeah,
right. To which I would then add a caveat, which is, if the supposed curve and spin are so negligent that you could just disregard them as being valid into any practical effect, then what point is there of even saying they are curved?
You'd have to see exactly what practical effects you were modeling, right?
Coriolis.
If you just wanted to model how the shape of an aircraft moved in the air and how it, its flying surfaces, how adjustments to those changed how it moved, then I don't think you would need to take account of those things. But I'm no expert in this subject, I have to say, but I'm just guessing. I'm just imagining kind of like a model aeroplane hanging in a wind tunnel or something like that. I'm thinking you wouldn't need to account for those sort.
Well, that's basically using our argument, Jem. Like, because we know that practically it's not even going to consider anything that the globe is actually proposing that we need to use. So if we're looking at it from in that respect, then we're saying, okay, we're starting off with this model that we don't need to kind of use anything that the globe is actually defining as what it is, Coriolis effect or anything, because we don't need to account for that. Then we're bang on.
Well,
like, it's exactly what
but it's a model, Mickey. It's a model, though.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that even if it is a model, and we're trying to figure out what a plane's going to do by using this model, it's the most practical way to use the idea that you're going to support aircraft, within flight and all that. Like, that's why would you even consider it being on a globe where the altitude changes? The actual trajectory, and like there's a lot more involved with the complicated.
Well, those are your beliefs, Miggy. You're bringing in the idea that planes need to dip their noses and things like that. Well, they don't. That's why you wouldn't need to consider that.
How about the Coriolis effect?
You're bringing in that. Well, look, it's a model. Now, let me explain what a model is. Right? It's a simplified explanation of something. Often it's mathematical. A good easy example, everyday example of a model, right, is a subway map. You've probably seen them, right, in cities with subways, right? And they're all the lines are kind of at right angles, and they've got nice sort of right angle curves when they go, and it takes the line around a corner, or sometimes they're at diagonally 45 degrees, but they're all either 90, 180 or 45 degrees. Well, we know that the lines on a subway system don't actually run like that. There's little twists and turns in them, and they go up and down and stuff like that. But that model of the subway system allows passengers to figure out how to get from one destination to the next. They can figure out how long some of them predict the time of the next train and things like that. So it's a very useful model, but it's not an accurate depiction of the subway system. And this is the same sort of thing. You can have a useful model that makes predictions about certain aspects of something, in this case, the flight of a missile, but it doesn't necessarily have to account for everything, because you don't always want to model all of those things in one go, because you're adding in too many variables that you've got to account.
It's not like it wouldn't. The analogy would probably not fit with the example we're trying to talk about here within the context of the missile, because
we don't know because we've only got the one page.
No, what I'm saying is that in the overall, the overarching understanding that the Earth is what we're talking about, because that's what they exclaimed, even in the one little sentence or two that they said you're on a flat, stationary, non-rotating Earth. That right there is telling you the whole Earth. Like, it's not just this one little piece in Arkansas. It's talking about everywhere on Earth. So that is the important bit. I think you're not looking at. Well, yeah.
To understand that, though, to actually know that what you've just said is true, what you would need is the rest of the document, so you could figure out exactly what this is all about, what things they are actually calculating for, why they're calculating for those, and why they're leaving others out. And I think you would need that.
I know why they're leaving them out, but
those sort of claims.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because anywhere you go on Earth, you're using the same principle that they're actually talking about in that page that we've seen. So if everywhere on Earth this is applicable, then everywhere on Earth we're using the same.
Well, now you're speculating again.
No, it's not speculating. Why would they?
All right. Well, in the rest of the document, Miggy, it says the Earth is definitely a sphere, and all flat Earthers should take note of this sentence. I think it says that in the rest of the document.
Well, that's good.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, go with it. Hopefully that makes you sleep better at night. But obviously,
hopefully the stuff that you're making up. Hopefully the stuff that you're making up about the rest of the document. Hopefully that makes you sleep.
I don't have to make up the rest of the document.
You literally just did, Miggy. That's my point. Yes, you did.
Because if they're using this,
you don't know if it refers to the whole Earth.
I don't care about that. I'm talking about what
you
they're
just
saying
said
here.
that. Those are you don't care about the words you just said.
Because if NASA is using something like this, where they're talking about a flat, non-rotating Earth for this missile, where are they using these missiles? Tell me that, Jim.
Well,
Are they using it right only in this specific area? They didn't say that, right? It wasn't in the document and what we read.
We don't know that. We don't know that, Miggy, do we? Again, you're speculating on what's in the rest of the document. You don't know if it's in the rest of the document. Why are you speculating like that?
I don't have to, because I'm telling you, if they're using
you do have to.
No, this jargon that they're using is specifically so that you can understand anywhere that they use this missile, it's going to have to be used with this model of a flat non-rotating Earth.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. Otherwise, why would they even say it?
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because it says so in the document.
It does not say that. It does not say anything about the whole Earth that you've just said. Doesn't say that. You added that. You added that in yourself.
Where is it applicable? Where is it applicable?
It says
I don't know. We haven't got the whole document.
The Earth.
Look, you can't give me this fragment of evidence and then laugh at me because I want the whole thing.
I am because
you should want the whole thing. You should want the whole thing. You're supposed to be a truth seeker.
I am a truth seeker, Jim.
So why are you quite happy to just go with the one line that confirms your bias and try your best, all cuts, to avoid actually understanding what the document is about?
It's in the conclusion.
It's just hopelessly
they're talking about, brother.
What?
One time, and how many documents you think this?
I didn't say it's one time. I've never said that. That's another straw man you guys are laying on me. Why are you doing that? When did I? It's at the moment we can see one line, and that's all Miggy is going on.
And what is he telling you in that one line?
Listen, he's not interested in any of the other document. He doesn't want to understand. He doesn't let me finish. Please let me finish. He doesn't want to understand anything about what the document actually talks about. He's just happy because this line says flat non-rotating Earth, and he just wants to go with that.
Yeah,
and he's pretending. He's pretending that he's a truth seeker, and he cares about truth.
I don't care if the document further on down
he's here to spread the truth.
Says that there's a rabbit humping the turtle in the bushes. I don't really care about that. What I'm talking about is what it says.
Why don't you?
It says right here on that document that it's using a flat non-rotating Earth. Where are they using it?
And you think that that's an honest?
Yeah,
you think that that's an honest truth-seeking approach to really discover, to really understand what this is about? That's the approach you're going with.
Because where are they going to use this model if not on Earth?
We don't know, Miggy. We haven't got the document. How many times have I got to? No, not perfect. I didn't say I don't know because it's incomprehensible. I said I don't know because we haven't got the rest of the document and we cannot form a full understanding of it. I want to, you don't. Because you're dishonest and you want to hide from it. You're scared of what it might say. I'm not.
The guys who wrote the document put it in there.
I'm not scared of it, and I wasn't scared when you said you were going to bring it up because I know about it. I'm not scared of it. You are.
Then you got to ask yourself one question: where is this being applied?
Yeah, the question I'll ask myself is why are grown men scared of documents? That's what I'm asking myself. Why is a grown man? Are you asking me the same? Are you asking me the same question again, Miggy? So I can give you the same answer again.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
We don't know. We don't know because we haven't got the whole document. I want it. You don't. I want to get a full understanding of it. You don't. You want to try and pretend.
I have the document.
You want to try and pretend you've got a full understanding from one line of it. Right. Can I have the document?
Did you hear that? He's got the document.
Great.
So can we
And you
go on
post
with
it?
documentation and validation, please? Yes. Instead of yelling and screaming your point that doesn't make any sense.
Shut
Because we tried
up.
to bring up document. Hey, first of all, you can tell me to shut up or you what? Doesn't bother me, hon. Just
I
show
will
me what
do.
a disrespectful asshole you are. Now I can stand my own too, babe. Don't try to come at me.
Well,
Okay?
what are you?
Sit
Nobody
down.
needs your
Sit
input.
down.
All we need is the
Mentally, you need to
document.
sit down.
All we need is the document. We don't need your
And
input.
we're trying to provide that document, but you're too busy
Well,
going
no,
off and yelling.
providing the
and saying
document
we don't
doesn't
argue
involve you
with
speaking.
you.
Posted the
Like you're doing
document
it, honey.
All right,
in the
I've got it.
chat.
I'm just pointing out to Stacey that didn't require her to speak.
What page you want to go to, Jim? What'll satisfy your little deal here?
Jim.
Well, I'm going to read the whole document.
Oh, go ahead.
Right, this is
What
the
I'm going
line.
to tell you
I got
is
you
that
locked, stock, and
entire
barrel,
document
though, so.
Right,
that
it's-
entire
hold on.
document doesn't even mention a sphere or globe. So just an FYI.
Right,
There's
but
108 pages.
This one mentions no wind, though. So tell me where on flat Earth there's no wind for an aircraft to fly in.
I think when they
I'll
wrote
give it a
paper and
break.
included Earth, I think they knew about wind.
Well,
It
why
sounds
did
like
they?
they're just
Why did
scared
they?
to talk about what
is
the fuck they actually mentioned.
Is
You
the
just want to
wind
talk
on Earth?
about what they didn't mention again.
Well, they did
Gem.
mention wind. They do mention wind, chocolate. They
Yeah,
do
oh,
Oh, so
mention.
then
I
that's
don't
your
care.
bad because you just said they didn't. So who
No,
the
I
fuck
didn't.
cares?
No, I did not. No, I didn't. I said.
You don't even know
I
what you're
said.
saying anymore.
I
bro.
said. Listen. I said they
Oh.
didn't include wind. Okay, that doesn't mean they didn't
Who
mention it. They
cares?
specifically did mention that they weren't including it.
All right, here's
So
one-
go ahead.
You
Jim.
know what
So
they
go
also
ahead.
mentioned?
So
They
go ahead.
mentioned it was flat and
So-
non-rotating.
So go ahead and tell me what. Well,
That's
they
pretty,
mentioned it was
that's pretty shit compared
okay.
to a
Okay,
magically
so
spinning
does
ball,
the
right?
flat, non-rotating Earth have no wind?
Why would they need to mention wind? Because
Are you breathing?
Earth has wind.
Right.
You know
They
that,
why-
already
and why-
know that.
And
Did they have to specify that there's wind,
Do
or they
aircraft?
had to specify that it's flat and non-rotational? You don't want to argue about that, but you want to argue about they didn't mention wind. Are you kidding?
Yet again, chocolate. I didn't say they didn't mention wind. I said they specifically did mention wind. They specifically did mention wind. They
So whether they
specifically
mentioned wind or not,
I know.
Stop talking.
whether they
and listen.
mentioned wind or not, what they
Stop
specifically
talking and
also
listen.
did mention was that it's flat and non-rotational.
Look, chocolate, you can keep repeating that, but try and get with it, okay? Now, listen carefully.
Get with it.
They specifically mention that they're leaving out wind of their calculations for an aircraft. Now, do you have an explanation for why they would do that?
Over a flat stationary plane?
Over anywhere.
Over Earth,
Because they
which
already,
they're
they
saying is
already know
flat and
how to deal with
non-rotational.
wind. Yeah, they've already dealt with wind for years, so they already know how to deal
right.
with that. So
If
they're
they're
trying to make sure
building
that
if
this
they're building a
missile-
fucking aircraft,
So could it be? So
if
could it
they're
be?
building
then-
a fucking aircraft that literally depends on wind to fly, I don't know why they would specifically have to mention that. But what they do specifically
missile.
mention is that it's flat and stationary.
Just
and
keep
not a ball.
repeating that. Just keep repeating that.
Well,
chocolate.
because you want to
Because
avoid
that
it,
makes
bro.
it-
You've been
because-
avoiding it since I got in here.
Look, I'm not avoiding it. I'm trying to make an attempt, and as I have been since I've been here, to explain why they leave things like a curved and a a curved. Please let me finish. A curved and a rotating Earth out of this. Now, when I brought up wind and said that that's out of it, Stacey immediately piped up and says, "Oh, well, because they're used to dealing with wind." Well, of course, they're used to dealing with a rotating and curved Earth in the same way, and that's
not.
really that's
Are
my
they really?
point.
Because they
Well,
didn't say
are
that.
they,
They
Jen?
said
Can you
flat
prove
and
that?
stationary.
Well, the point is that would be reasonable in the same way, wouldn't it? Okay. If the Earth, we're just saying it's all hypothetical at the moment, right?
Wait,
No,
can I ask a
neither
question?
of
Is
us
this for a
know.
missile?
Neither of us
Is
know.
this for a missile? Wait, let me just ask a question, please. Is this for a missile that's supposed to go how fast that they're worried about wind?
The
Or
one.
is it a plane that's going a lot slower, so they have to adjust the wind because
but
of
it's-
how it's
but it's-
moving?
but
And we're
let's-
talking about two different things here, right?
We are talking about two different things. There are two
Right.
documents.
So how fast
Hang
does that
on.
missile go?
Listen,
Does it have to
listen,
worry about the wind?
Listen. There are two
I'm
documents.
listening.
There are two documents on the table. At the moment, thankfully, we've switched to the one that I'm more familiar with, which is the one that deals with aircraft and not missiles. Okay? I have no idea how fast the missile goes, whatever question you ask me. I have no idea. No reason why I should have any idea. I don't know why you asked me that. Now, I would like to read this document if I can.
Well, read the document while you're doing that. See if they could tell you anywhere there where this was being applied. The model, as you state, of the flat, non-rotating Earth. Where is this applied at? Let's find that. See if the document says anything about that. I, of course, don't need to.
I'm not sure what question you're asking me, Miggy.
Okay, so
No,
we first started. Like, you read the document. I'm gonna say when we first started talking about this, I asked you, where is this model that we're talking about being applied? Even if they claim that it's a globe and it spins, all these other things, whatever else the document might even say, why and where is the model being applied on Earth? Because
as I understand it, this one is used for sort of. I'm not sure if it's actually in wind tunnels, or I think they maybe simulate with this or something. It's that sort of a thing, as I understand it.
So you don't know yet. You're just saying you're right now. You're
Well,
based upon what
it's
you're.
been a while. It's a while since I dealt with it. I came across it when it first came out, which was about sort of 3 years ago, and then sort of fiddled with it around then when it was popular, and then forgot about it. But of course, in Flat Earth, these things get refuted.
Talk about the document that's been around since '88.
The thing is, these things in Flat Earth, they get refuted, and then people get, they realize it isn't a strong argument, and then they disappear for a bit, and then they raise their ugly heads again. And
I don't even know how we got talking about this, but yeah, it's not really for me a point, but I mean, it just to show you that even in their models, as they claim, because
we got talking about it because it was, you were doing your.
But that's the problem. I know that these guys are going to say globe or whatever else in those other pages. I know that. It's NASA here we're talking about. It's not. They're not going to continue to. Oh, they leaked information about the flat non-rotating Earth. Now they're going to dive into how the Earth is flat. I already know it's NASA. They're not going to be talking about that. They're going to be talking about how it's a globe and all this other business. But what I'm interested in is if they're using a model of flat non-rotating Earth, where is this being applied?
I've answered that. Biggie, I answered that question, didn't I?
Yeah,
Tell me what my answer was, so I know that you heard me.
You said that it was wind tunnel, right? And you said, I think that it could be applied in a scenario where they're using it like a wind tunnel.
Something like that. I think it might be more computer modeling of kind of like wind tunnel operations.
See if you can.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Like I said, I really don't care. If you're gonna go on a bunny trail, that's your. But
Miggy, don't you think you should care? Don't you think you would? Why don't you want to have a full understanding of what this document's all about? Because it might reveal even better evidence for you, right? It might say something that's even better for Flat Earth,
right?
But you don't know that because you're only bothered about this one line.
Because it's
and I find that astounding.
The obvious that I know that the Earth is flat and non-rotating. It's already citing, even as a model, it's already citing what I already know in reality. I don't need to go any further than that because it confirms everything that I know. So it doesn't matter if later on down the road, NASA, the other pages that you read say, oh, definitely a globe, of a definite size and shape. It works this way. I don't really care. To me, it doesn't matter. They're using this model, and that's all I care about.
In that case, all I can say is then, Miggy, I feel sorry for you. If you think that is sound, if you think that is sound reasoning that can lead you to, accurate conclusions about reality, then I feel really sorry for you.
Because I'm glad. I'm actually glad. I'm actually glad that
it's
NASA
not
has to
sound
use
reasoning because
it
they show you a magical
because it doesn't really matter.
They assume a flat stationary Earth, and you think that's the same thing, same difference, right? It doesn't matter. Get the fuck, bro. Look, you're the one that's delusional, bro.
No, look, I didn't say it was delusional, and I'm the one that wants to get a full understanding of this document. Miggy is desperately trying to avoid getting a full understanding of it because, as he's just admitted himself, he knows it will say things that make it not
it's
such
NASA,
a
Jim.
thing.
It's NASA that we're talking about here. Like I said, these guys are not like proponents of the flat Earth. For number one, so even if we're looking at a NASA document, I already know going into this what the other pages are going to say without even looking. They're going to have explanations about how the globe is doing what it's doing. What I'm interested in,
think about it, Mickey. This is pretty bad for a hostile witness, right? Because they're the ones that show us the magical spinning ball. But yet in their documents, nicely shuffled away, there you go, flat stationary plane. But when we actually have to put vehicles in the air, right? We got to take this shit serious. We gotta put lives at risk, right? So we take the Earth as it is, flat and stationary. We don't play around with the little magical spinning ball shit.
You think we should take you seriously when you're deliberately ignoring more than half of a document? You think that should be taken seriously?
People drove dune buggies on the moon. How should I take you seriously? Are you out of your
You
mind?
know, I'm just like
we
I
can
said,
show that happened. We can
I'm
show plenty
actually-
of evidence that happened very easily. So
Yeah, I know you consider
there's every
video as
reason to
evidence,
believe
Jim.
that happened.
I know you consider video as
Well,
evidence.
you have to prove it's a ball first, and you haven't done that. So
If you watch my video, how I know we went to the moon, Miggy,
Did
you'll
you
see.
that thing, by the way?
You'll see what I present as evidence, and
I'd rather
it doesn't
listen to
include a lot of
astronauts
video.
bumble all over themselves, telling stories, telling campfire stories, telling fucking nonsensical bullshit that grown men like you are supposed to believe, right? Get the hell out of here. I'm gonna watch your video. No, I'd rather listen to the astronauts themselves blow up their own spot.
You can call it that, but clearly it isn't that. You know,
Gempanda, just to ask you a quick question, Doody, are you in the live text at all? The text for this channel, yeah?
No, I'm trying to read this document
all
and
right,
be angry at the same time.
All right, mate. Just to say, I popped up a thing there. Satellite dishes popping up in Ecuador. They're pointing towards the sky. You want to reiterate what you told me in your server one day, that's proof of geostationary satellites?
Why do you think it wouldn't be?
Why do you think it would be?
Because they're pointing up in the sky, so they can't be pointing at a tower, right?
Oh, so a satellite dish pointing up in the sky means that there's a geostationary satellite?
Well, I mean, I think if it's receiving a signal from one, I think that would be a reasonable. That would be a reasonable assumption, right?
Okay. You are you familiar with?
Are we assuming they're not receiving signals, or are they receiving signals?
I'm going to ask you a question. Are you familiar with Flight Radar 24?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. So on Flight Radar 24, if you go above Ecuador, there's satelloons that provide internet services, 4G satellite services all around the world. Do you know there's such a thing as Project Loon?
Yes, I know. But so what?
So the point I'm making.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So the point I'm making is, you said that was proof of geostationary satellites.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Absolutely,
Yes, you did.
I would never ever have used the word proof. Never ever. You guys use that word. I would never have said that in a million years.
You did. You were witness.
Absolutely not. You're lying. You're lying.
20
I'm sorry, mate, but you're lying. I don't want to be rude to you, but there's absolutely no way I would ever have said proof. I never ever say that word. You guys say it all the time. I never say it ever. Proofs exist only in math. Only in math.
Guys, let it be noted now that Gempanda, whether he refuses to admit it or not, in front of about 20 other people on his server, admitted and said and gave that proof there, which is pathetic.
I'd given that as evidence. I would have given that as evidence. Not proof.
Yeah.
Evidence is not proof. They're two different things.
In my inbox.
Yeah. So anyway, let it be known this is the type of stuff that Gempanda thinks is evidence of geostationary satellites. It's not.
Well, why wouldn't it be? Have you given me any good reason? Have you given me a good reason why it's not? What your argument so far? Listen. Let me respond. Please let me respond. Your argument so far is there are trains, therefore cars are fake.
Oh,
let Breaking respond. Hang on. Let Breaking.
There's another way of doing it. Therefore, that way
he's addressing Breaking. So let Breaking respond, please.
Yeah, Miggy.
Yeah.
I need a mod in my inbox now, please. Thank you.
Yeah, let Breaking respond, please, guys. Go ahead, Breaking.
Before Breaking goes ahead, I'm happy. Just one second. I'm happy not to participate in the debate if you need like a pure moderator, because I know, Miggy, you're kind of moderating and debating, so I'm happy to just be a mod if it's needed.
Yeah, anyway, bro, thank you. I gotta actually get OJ's inbox real quick. Yeah, if you could.
Yes, so just to respond, thank you there, Miggy, I think that was saying let me respond. I'm going to post some stuff of Project Loon. You can easily look it up yourself. It's on Flight Radar 24. Dude,
I've been here for 5 years. I'm not a newbie that's just walked in off the street. I've heard.
You're acting like a newbie. You said you did. You said
I did not.
Didn't.
I didn't. When you asked me if I'd heard of Project Loon, I said yes. Of course, I've heard of it.
Right. So
it was the Radar 24. The first thing you mentioned, I'd never heard of.
Right. So that's the point I'm making. You'd never heard the Radar 24. So that's why.
There are things hanging from balloons. We all know that. That's not news.
What's hanging from them?
Some great bit of evidence. You're just telling me that in some places there's an alternative way of transmitting stuff. So what?
Gempanda, what's hanging from the balloon? What's hanging from the balloons?
I bet it's not satellite TV transmitters.
It's satellites. It's satellites, dude. There's your satellites. That's your satellite.
Is it satellite TV transmitters?
Of course it is, dude. Yeah.
Is it? Prove it.
Of course it is.
All right. Let's see the evidence. Let's see the evidence.
Dude, you have got no proof.
You've made the claim. Let's see the evidence. Don't tell me about me. We're dealing with your claim that you just made. Let's see your evidence that these satelloons are transmitting satellite television.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
So, Breaking, do you want to go ahead and do that? Stacey's been trying to get in. Stacey, do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll get what he's looking for.
Oh, sorry, I actually forgot because I'm getting DM'd as well, and I have stuff going on my server. So can you give me one moment too, and I'll be right back.
Sure. Does anyone else want to speak? Is there anybody else who'd like to speak?
I want to know what.
I know what I was going to ask him.
I just came in halfway.
Evidence. Like, Jim, what do you think evidence is? Because evidence and proof, you use two different statements there. Like you said, I didn't say proof, I said evidence. Well, for me, evidence is proof. So can you verify to me what evidence is for you?
I think what you've just said, in a way, is true. For you, evidence is proof, and I think that's the nature of it. I think I can show you evidence, but only you can decide if my evidence amounts to proof for you. And this is why we have a jury in a court, right? Because what's proof for one person isn't proof for another person. And we recognize that. And that's why we say we need 12 people to all agree that this is proof for something before we, convict someone, right? So that is what I would say is the difference between evidence and proof.
Okay. So I appreciate that.
One supports an argument, one subjectively substantiates the argument for a person, but not for everyone necessarily.
Then can I ask you, what would the word be to be used then? Because the proof wouldn't be the word, I guess, necessarily to use anyway, because then you say everybody can have their own definition of proof. So to validate our reality, what would you use? That validation, citation? What are you looking for to? Because you want validation too.
I think to be honest with you, I mean, I'm a bit pedantic about the use of this word proof, because when we're in debates and stuff, you can get yourself caught in a corner where you say you can prove something when in actual fact you can never prove something. You can just offer evidence for it and hope that it proves it. So that's why I tend to be a bit sort of pedantic about it. I don't think it's really that wrong to say this is my proof for this. It's in a sort of colloquial sense. But for me, I think proofs only exist in maths. We can prove that, we can prove 2 + 2 = 4 in a 10-based counting system. But for me, that's a proof. So I know we had this lengthy discussion the other day about verification and validation. And I think you guys are being, I think you're being somewhat unfair in the way that you use that, because I don't think you always think through what it is that you're asking for. And where we got to the other day, it seemed to be with Miggy, was that the only evidence that he would accept from me would be evidence that he had already checked himself and personally collected himself, which, that to expect people to give you evidence you've already got seems, I don't think that's right. So I would say, but I would, I think, of course, you need ways to verify what's true. We can't just take a photograph off the internet and say, well, there's, look, satellites. So I guess what you've got to do is...
can also, can't you, I'm asking a question actually, can't you just make up a bunch of math though and make it fit things? And we're talking about what we can observe and do with scientific methods on natural laws that we could prove. I mean, when I say prove, I mean what you actually can do in your reality. Natural laws that you can verify for yourself, experiment after experiment. So those things The globe model should be able to easily prove at this point. I mean, it's 2020, and I'm
I would say
why that.
I would
the
say it
masks
can.
don't.
I would say it can.
Okay, tell me how the masks work correctly then, please, because I'm really looking 60 miles with my own eyes, and I'm seeing Chicago, okay? And I've seen that with my own eyes. So please tell me how you're having this massive refraction that doesn't exist and it's bending like
why
that.
Why do you say that refraction doesn't exist? I'm not trying to catch...
No. Wait. I didn't say refraction doesn't exist. Refraction does exist. But refraction doesn't exist to the point that you're trying to peep at you.
Okay, well, why do you say that? But why do you say
because
that?
Because there's no proof of it. Because there's no proof of it. Can you prove it to me that it does that?
Well, again,
we're back to simulation.
We're back to proof, aren't we? I mean, what we can do...
We're talking about reality, though. What we're trying to observe, right? Scientific method, but also has some observations in it, all right?
Right.
So we're talking about what we can
and that's how we know. And that's how we know. That's how we know how light behaves in different mediums. Because those are things... Hang on. Those are things that we can test in a laboratory, right? We can stick a light in one place and stick material between it and somewhere else and see how that light behaves. And that's how we know how light refracts in an atmosphere. So we have an atmospheric pressure gradient, which is, I'll be as brief as I can because I know you've heard this before. We have an atmospheric pressure gradient that gets denser as you get closer. And that denser atmosphere makes the light change angle. Usually, well, it makes it change angle so it goes down. A bit like the easy demonstration of this effect is a spoon in a glass of water. And if the glass is half full, you see like a bend in the spoon if you're looking at the whole glass. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
I do know what you mean when you're saying
right. So that's an effect of refraction where the light that's traveling through the water is traveling it's taking longer than the light that's traveling through the air. It actually travels at the same speed. It takes a longer route, essentially. So,
is there any for me then to prove for myself? Then is there anything that you could show me experiment-wise that I know refraction, I understand that, but that you can refract?
Well, the best
Chicago that far, 60 miles away. Right. Well, I should be able to see it at all. So they can refract.
The best one that I've seen
like that for me in my own eyes.
The best one that I've seen that you'll instantly reject is the lasers through the sugar solution. And you'll just say we don't live in a sugar solution, but we do live in a fluid atmosphere that gets denser towards the bottom, just like the sugar solution does in the fish tank. You've seen those, right? A laser going through a fish tank. Have you seen those?
Right. I actually have. But
we're not looking top to bottom. We're looking across. Sorry.
Right, but it still has the same. It still has the same effect on the light, right? The light where you see that.
If you were looking top down, but we're looking across.
Let me finish.
I'm answering it. Okay, fine.
Okay. If you look at the side of the fish tank, you're looking at the laser bending down. You're looking, if you like, at a cross section of your observation. If you were shining that laser across the lake, and that laser would. Someone's on one side of it, it would bend down towards you on the other side of it, just like it does in the sugar solution. But a sugar solution is more useful because it has a much more profound effect on the laser. And therefore, we're able to see the laser doing that in a small space like a fish tank. But the problem is if we just put atmosphere in that fish tank, it will have no effect on the laser over that short space. You need a lot more atmosphere over a lot longer distance for it to have a bit of an effect.
Okay, so why don't you guys try to do a different test then to prove that?
Well,
I'm saying until you can prove to me that you can literally refract Chicago up like that with light and bend light like that, because the only thing I do is a simulation. That's ridiculous to do that. So if you guys can show me that light can actually do that and refract something, then I can see with my own eyes. I know Chicago should be there, by the way, but I'm gonna go ahead and refract it up above the horizon like that, the entire thing, the whole skyline. If you guys could show me something like that light can do that, then I would think a little differently about, maybe the globe model could possibly maybe exist.
But then
in reality, you guys can't.
But the problem is, you say you're all about the science and testable science, and then I show you what effectively could be a laboratory experiment. And
what you said could. You're not showing me exactly what I am witnessing, and I want a proof of it over and over again that can happen in nature with a scientific method experiment. You're showing me something like it. That's not the same.
But that would just be me showing. Hang on, let me finish. That would just be me showing you another observation where there was refraction, then, wouldn't it?
Wait, there you go. There you go. It's refraction. I said refraction exists, but you're not showing me this super duper crazy refraction that people keep claiming that can refract Chicago all the way up. It's impossible.
But he's missing an element with the sugar. Hold on, he's missing an element with the sugar solution, and that element is obstruction to see around. If you could do something like that in the sugar solution, that would be swell.
Well, you could easily do that. I mean, you could just put an object in the bottom of the fish tank. I don't think that would make any difference. I can't see how it would.
Yeah, you would have to see a target from around that object that you put into that tank.
You would. I mean, another demonstration of that, you've probably seen this one as well. Have you seen the plasticine, the silly putty on a propane tank? Have you seen that one?
All right, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Jem, if you want to post anything, I think you were able to on the arena text, like stuff to support your argument or whatever.
Right.
You should be able to. I'm not sure if you can.
I don't really like doing these arguments anyway.
No, I know. I'm just telling you that.
I don't really care about proving things to you guys. I mean, I think that, my thoughts would be the evidence is out there. The stuff's out there that substantiates this. The refractive index is well tested.
Okay, so we can squeeze this stone then. He's already set in his ways, and he
interesting.
But he says we can go look for it.
Yeah, but
let's squeeze another stone.
Can I maybe finish the point? Maybe.
Sure.
Better way.
Sorry, that was rude of me. I apologize.
I can't remember what the point was. It was probably only rambling. But I think the evidence.
I was going to mention. Sorry, one second, Gempanda. You'll be able to finish your point in a second. Breaking down Wall of Lies, do you want to go ahead once Gempanda's finished his point? Because you were trying to get in, weren't you? So,
I'm done, mate. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're on about the satellites.
Right, have we got the satellite TV thing now?
Yeah, we haven't got the satellite TV. I'm looking, trying to find, as in the satellite TV, what we do have there is that the communications is used from satellites. So, and I'm looking through Sky's documentation. There is nothing to prove at all, no documentation to say that these geostationary satellites are providing any Sky TV. In fact, what they're now doing is revolutionizing it and saying that the satellites are not needed. So no proof of geostationary satellites to provide any satellite TV. Satelloons that are using a communications network from balloons with satellites on them, that's proof and is noted. But if you want to provide me some proof of a geostationary satellite, go ahead.
I think we've launched 120 new satellites in the last week. So yeah. I don't know where you got the idea that satellites aren't needed anymore.
No, proof of geostationary. That is hundreds of miles above the Earth's surface.
I can't provide you proof. I can give you evidence of things.
Right. There's no proof. Yeah. That's all I wanted to know. There is no proof.
Well, you can seize on that if you like, but there's no. You prove anything to me, anything you like.
I can prove that there's no curvature. You want to
prove it to me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. So the Earth is a ball, correct, in your eyes?
You're proving it to me. You don't need me to speak. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll prove it. So we've got long distance footage of 100 miles with zero curvature.
I don't believe you. I don't believe that footage. You expect me to believe footage?
I'll put the uncut videos up for you.
Do you believe Superman?
I'll put the uncut videos up for
you.
So what?
So what? Fake. The fake CGI videos.
Right. Well, that shows your integrity, dude.
No, it shows that you can't prove anything to me, mate.
It shows that you don't even want to take a look at any of the evidence that is presented to you that shows you as totally disingenuous, a liar, a faker, and how dare you even come in here and try and present your arguments.
Because I'm making a point that you're missing, mate. I'm making a point. You demanded that I prove something to you. You can just do what I just did. And you do frequently. All of you do. I'd show you a bit of video. You go, video? What? Superman's on video? I mean, you do that. Listen, you do that to me all the time. And that's my point.
That's not true.
Listen. I can offer you evidence for something. Only you can decide if it's proof. Listen. Let me finish. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. I wanted to make the point. You're spoiling it. Okay? So that's why I said I can't give you proof. I can give you evidence. You have to decide.
If I give you evidence, so if I provide you with evidence of infrared footage that's uncut video from an altitude that you should be seeing curvature on the Earth over 1,200 miles, if that's not evidence enough, what more would it take for you to accept we don't live in a flying spinning ball?
Well, I would have to ask you about that footage, and I would have to ask you how you know about these distances involved. Because I know the footage that you're talking about. It's no surprise to me. I know who Joe Tolan Media is. And I don't think he's established that he's seeing 1,200 miles. I think he just said he was. And you lot just believed him. I don't think there's any evidence whatsoever. He didn't point to a recognizable landmark or anything that said he was seeing 1,200 miles. It's just a blob of water. And he said it's, I don't know, whatever Great Lake it was.
So just to ask a question, then you've discounted that footage of J Tolan Media. Okay,
of course, it's
absurd. Why have you discounted that? Can you prove why he's got it wrong?
No, he has to prove how he's got it right. He's making the claim that he's seeing. Look, he's making the claim that he can see 1,200 miles. He needs to substantiate that claim. He could do that easily by showing what he can see, applying it to a map. He kind of does this, and
he does all that.
And he could show us something recognizable that cannot be something else. And he does not do that. He doesn't show us anything where we go, that can only be that one thing and it can't be anything else. He just doesn't. And I would love to see it if he could. It would be amazing. I would be gobsmacked. I'd be suicidal, but I'd be gobsmacked.
OJ, did you want to come in there?
Honestly, I'm not sure how to slow him down at this point, because I was trying to point out earlier that he was interrupting you when you were trying to give him evidence or proof by saying, he doesn't really have to accept it. And then he's given a logical reason as to why by telling you the story about Jay Tolan, which is fair for the audience. It's a debate tactic. But
it wasn't actually about rejecting his evidence.
But now that I'm about to make my point, you're like really cutting me off when it's about to get juicy. How about this? Is there what evidence would you accept? Because, the whole difference between something we could do here on Earth and something that satellite does, we can't verify that the medium of space exists, which is really nothing because it's space, nothing.
I can tell you what I would accept.
We can verify that the ground is not curving at 8 inches per mile squared like it should do if you're on a globe with a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles.
I can verify that it's not. That it is.
If you verify, that it's a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, you can verify this?
Yes, easily.
Oh, please proceed.
Oh, all right. I hate this shit.
This is the arena, so it's separate from the other live stream and how we deal with things here. So everything's well within the context of being in this room. So just to let you guys know, this is kind of what it's gonna shape up to look like. So Gempanda is going to be able to really come back in here. So long as, like I said, there's no. Go ahead, OJ. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jim. I don't mean to make it unfun for you.
No.
Yeah. I'll be quiet.
No, it wasn't. It's no problem. So what I would accept, this is where I was going with this, right? The world record breaking long distance photograph. You guys tend to like that photograph, right? I think most people are kind of happy with that photograph. I am. Okay. I can show curvature of the Earth in that photograph.
Please do.
Mathematically demonstrated.
Please do.
You're going to have to watch a video.
That's okay. Can you explain the video?
It's not too long. Oh, the video is me explaining it. So, hang on. Oh, God. It's not the best one. I've got a better one than this, but it is a good one.
Shout out to Jedi. What's going on, brother?
Shout out to Biggie. Good to see you.
What have I got on here?
They were new to me and we're going to kick me out.
Leaving chocolate.
I just wanted to go ahead as my. Ooh, I get to moderate. This is nice. If there's any other Globe guys who wanted to talk as well, I noticed that Damon is in here. Feel free to speak up as well if you want. It's not just all about Gempanda, so.
I think it is. I think it is all about me. I think.
Probably you, because
Gempanda.
Yeah, I just wanted to, one second breaking. I just wanted to welcome any other Globe guys to get involved as well. This isn't like a pre-scheduled debate, as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
If there's any other Globe guys, yeah, if there's any other Globe guys, feel free to come in as well. Anyway, breaking, please
get the video.
Yeah, Damon, I was just going to point out, Damon, we've had a chat with him the last 2 days in here. He don't know deadly squat, so he'll probably be in here to learn off of Gempanda. He ain't got a clue what he's talking about. He don't even know his own model. So that's him done.
Well, that's again, it's a bunch of assertions that you have no evidence for. All I did was to say something about a photograph, and you rambled on for about a half an hour and then muted me and said you were going to kick me out.
No, I never muted you once, dude. I was actually, believe it or not, the guy that unmuted you. You moved up to the 20. Yeah, that's okay. It's just I felt sorry.
You want a good Samaritan trophy.
Damon, one second. I muted you earlier, dude, but I'm moderating here, so I'm not going to continue that debate here. If you have something else you want to talk about, please bring that up.
Right, I'll just stick my video in the chat here. It's timestamped. You need to watch it till you see the horizon drop, because I make a couple of points about these photographs. It's probably about 5-6 minutes, something like that.
My point was just simply that you can let Jem go on for an hour, but But me, I say one sentence, and you want to freaking ramble on for an hour and kick me out.
You were the guy.
I'm just a little fit to you.
I'm sorry.
I'm just a little guy. I don't have no subscribers.
You were the guy that was arguing against every NASA video that was shown to you yesterday. You hadn't got a clue about Satelloons. You hadn't got a clue about any of that, dude. Yeah, you didn't know about Satelloons. You didn't know NASA's launching balloons with satellites on them. You hadn't got a clue about any of that.
I actually know quite a bit about that, but I was wanting to hear what you were saying, and when you said something, I was disagreeing with you.
Disingenuous, because yesterday you hadn't got a clue, and then I provided all the evidence, and now you've got a clue, so you're just a disingenuous.
No, I knew that there were balloons with items attached to it. I didn't know that you called them Satelloons.
Yeah, so you're a clown, basically. I mean, you're in here debating your stupid globe model, and you ain't even got a clue about the arguments that are presented against NASA and all the rest of it. Have you watched all the videos on NASA?
It's just a trendy name for a thing hanging from a balloon. I don't think
it's just a trendy example of the truth.
You got something on me because you know the word Satelloon, which is a ridiculous term.
No, dude, it was showing all
you're
them videos yesterday. All them videos
Shows
yesterday.
that you're just brand new to this shit.
Yeah,
It's been around for a while. That's all it's showing.
He's been here
You still got the price tag on you, bro.
He's been here ages, dude. He's been here years.
Ages when? I could affirm. Yeah, you, Jim. I know you've been around for years, but this guy, Damon, who is he? I don't know.
Look, I was on the internet, and Flat Earth formed around me.
All right.
That's true.
You, Eric Dubay.
Before you were even a thought, buddy. Seriously, you're fucking.
I was only winding you up.
By the way, why are all the people lying about the curve there, Jim?
Did you watch that video yet?
So why are all those people lying about the curve there, Jim?
Otherwise,
what's up?
They're not gonna watch it.
Somebody said, "Who the fuck is Gempanda?" How could they say that?
Oh, you got a fan, Jim.
Oh no, I'm more concerned about my lack of fame here than anything else. This is more important than the shape of the
No
earth.
offense, I didn't know who you were until about 4 months ago, hon.
I know. Well, you haven't been here that long.
I knew who he was about. I knew who he was about 20 years ago.
How long have you been here, Stacey?
Yeah, I knew who you were about.
I was looking at
20
Eric
years ago,
Dubay and all
dude.
that stuff back in 2014 and stuff. I knew nothing about you. I ran in and saw some globe busters and Jerry's and all those people, but I still didn't know you because you're not known.
Right. But when did you actually? When was the first day that you called yourself?
Oh, when I met Stan, and yeah, he has met you on tour.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
what I
like
met about you.
end of last year. End of last year or middle.
Correct. I never heard your name. Never.
So nobody knew Gempanda 20 years ago.
Hey, do you guys mind if I cover the video that Jem just kind of posted? I actually did watch it. I kind of skimmed through it, so I might have missed some of it. Right, but I do want to cover that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Jem, my question is, I'm not gonna lie, kind of skipped towards the end, so I didn't hear a lot of the stuff that you said, so I could be missing something. So if I do miss some things, fill me in.
I will.
But from the gist of it, what I'm seeing is that you're saying that the horizon drops lower than the mountains, right? And that's proof of curvature, the horizon drop, right? That's like the whole gist of it, or did I miss anything?
I guess that's the main point. Yeah, there's a couple more bits to it, but like
Okay.
how much of the mountain is obstructed? But yeah, we do see the horizon drop, and it's calculable because we know the height that it was taken at. We know the height of a mountain in the foreground, and then we know the height of the mountain in the background.
All right.
Okay, so here's my statement and my question, right? My statement first would be, what's up?
No, I was gonna say, Coach was trying to get in here to this room, but he can't get in for some reason.
I'll deal with it in a minute. Just let me finish this point and I'll take care of it. So my question number one would be, is there a prediction with the globe model that actually predicts that horizon drop with the elevations on all the math? And if there is that prediction, I'd love to see it. And number two, it's not a straw man because I've heard flat earthers say this, but a lot of flat earthers parrot this, I think, and it's wrong. Horizon does not always rise to eye level. It depends on the atmosphere, right? There's days where it's shortened. There's days where it's, it could be shortened through the atmosphere. So I'm not one of those persons that don't believe the horizon always rises to eye level. I think a lot of the flat earthers got that from Eric Dubay because he said it a lot from the first videos. And I think a lot of people just stuck with it. But even in optics, you can prove that the horizon or the horizons don't always rise to eye level just with optics. Now, when you include atmosphere, that's including in something else. So I'm with the idea that isn't sufficient evidence, but if you had a model, if you can show me like a model where there's a prediction with the observation that you're claiming that this fits the globe, I'd be happy to see that.
Right. Well, to answer you the last bit first, I think if you're saying that the horizon doesn't always rise to eye level, that what I'm offering there is a refutation of the argument that the horizon does always rise to eye level. And I accept the fact that you don't make that argument, but I think we would all have to accept that an awful lot of flat earthers do. I've heard that said many, many times.
Yeah, I accept that.
But as you say, that argument is useless for you. Okay. Now, as for the model, I would say, now we know that there is refraction required for them to get these these long distance photographs because they say it on the website. So, and they take, they spend many years perfecting this craft, and there's only a couple of days a year when they can get the shots. So we know there is some refraction going on, but I think at this altitude, because we're high up, I think that's going to be fairly minimal. So I think you could go with standard refraction at 7/6, or
right,
the radius 7/6 of the radius, right? So the radius plus a sixth, and I think that would get you pretty close. It might not be bang on, but it would get, because it's 275 miles. That's an awful lot.
What I would think would help this discussion, Jem, a little bit is because both of the sides do things I think they can work on. I think like the Globers do this, so you could agree or disagree, but they do every time you see a horizon drop or a boat being obstructed by curvature. It's never an actual prediction. It's just like the observation and you're calling it curvature. I think it'd be nice if we can actually get globe predictions, like, on this globe model.
I included the maths. I think, for the angle, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh, I did skip over it. Remember, I told you that, so I might have missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that. But I'm talking about other videos. I'm not talking just about this one. Like, I'm talking about, there are a lot of videos where like people say like, oh, every time you've seen like something being obstructed, it has to be Earth curve. But there's never really a prediction with the model. Like, how far was the boat? How high was the observer? Like, it's just like the observation is the claim of it. I think that's something the Globe should work on, and we should work on like
I think this provides a prediction, and I think the problem is, I think that the sort of observations that you guys do, I think, are ineffective for making this determination. I just don't think that looking at the horizon, I think we've all established that, or at least you guys have, with thousands of observations, that this just isn't a great way to do this, because for there to be enough curve for it to be, or enough drop for it to be apparent to you, you need to be quite a distance away. And if you're quite a distance away, it becomes difficult to see stuff. And we're always up against that. And particularly when you do these low level observations. And that's why I like ones like this that are done. This one is quite high. I think I prefer it maybe a bit lower than this, ideally. And there is a better one I can point you to that I think is just a brilliant piece of evidence. And it's something that a guy, I don't know if you know Miles Davis, he did in Scotland. And he's on.
Yeah, I saw it with the mountains. It was on Nathan Oakley for like months.
Hill and a bridge, and then there's something else in the background that he knows the known height of. And we can see that there's a drop between them. We can see, it's there, it's clear for all to see. And sorry?
Is that not refraction?
I think there's some refraction in there, yeah. Because we would add in standard refraction when we're at that height, right? And we could be sort of reasonably confident that was going to be a useful calculation to us, because when you get down very low, like you guys insist on doing these days, there's always going to be a lot going. Well, not always, but usually there's going to be quite a lot going on, and often there's loads going on. And also, that observation wasn't done over water, and that helps as well, because you don't get the.
Right. Real quick, is Carnivore a part of your server, Gempanda?
Yeah, okay. I should probably go if they're all coming in here.
Well, no, I gotta.
So
I just wanted a confirmation because I
out.
Just to go back to the whole Kosho thing, what am I supposed to do? I didn't mean to brush it off, but I was like, I just didn't want to lose my train of thought. Is he still banned? Does he need a special role? Like, what is it that he needs to get in here?
Yeah, he's going to get the Gladiator tag. Gempanda has a Gladiator tag right now, and I think if Gem vouches for Carnivore, I'll give him the tag as well.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He's one of us.
We're just handing out these tags just so that you guys can have access to this arena back and forth.
I'm feeling a little left out.
I'm sorry, mate. I'll shut up now. I'll go home.
I'm talking about like who Jim.
I don't think I have a Gladiator tag.
Look, you gotta stop leaving Damon out, please.
I don't like me.
You're upsetting him.
All right, Carnivore.
I'm so upset.
Oh,
I'm gonna cry.
Carnivore, you on the mic? Real quick.
I do feel a little sad about it now.
I don't know.
I've got your back, buddy. You're all right.
I mean, I can't even be impressive to the flat earthers. That's pretty sad.
Oh, come on, Damon. I got yelled at by Gempanda like, no, ain't nothing, and I didn't whine like a little baby.
It's
I didn't.
a rite of passage, Stace. It's a rite of passage.
I've been run over by Jem a few times, I think, acting an idiot.
See, everyone has. Everyone has. I'm known
but it
for
doesn't
being an
mean you
irritable.
should.
I'm known for being an irritable old bastard.
It makes you feel good about it afterwards.
Hey, at least you admit it, honey. That's what it amounts. At least you're
It's good
true
that you
on
can
that
admit it,
point.
but you also need to throw having a whiny voice in there.
A whiny voice. Yeah.
You whine, Gempanda, and it's my fuck. I hate that about you. You've got a whiny voice. It's really fucking annoying. Like, I'm sorry, but I cannot watch your YouTube videos and not.
Gempanda's voice. I think Gempanda has a nice voice.
Thank you.
It's that typical British 50-plus-year-old man's whiny voice. It gets on my nerves.
Bambi's talking to me in a Scottish accent, saying these words. I mean, please.
Yeah, but that's okay. Better than having a 50-year-old
I know, but
British.
you'll always have it, Bambi. You'll never be able to get rid of it. You know.
Yeah, well, yours is going to get worse with age.
It'll always be there, holding you back.
By the way, send the
Hold me
people
back
in
to
there.
what?
Send the people in there to get the tag up.
People think about deep fried Mars bars.
Come on, guys. Mickey's trying to moderate. Be a bit.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, send the people in here so they can get their tag. That way we can do it and get everybody's kind of sorted out.
I don't think there's any point now. The Earth's the globe. Come on, just say
yeah. Send the people in here, Jen.
Yeah, and you got any verifiable proof for that?
That was good. That was good.
Verifiable proof for that crap. Please.
You'll have a nice rest and
we got a load of observations
talk about
blown by little old
If you're so comfortable with it being a globe, why don't you just, give up the server, and just go back to regular life? Why are y'all worried about flat Earth? That you actually named your server Debate Flat Earth and More.
Yeah, but
like you were saying 3-4 years ago, flat Earth is dead, bro.
Point. Two or 3 years ago,
it's still here.
2 or 3 years ago, there was a point, but there isn't now. That's gone.
There's no point in you debating because you haven't proven anything yet.
Really, 2 years ago, but I kept kidding myself on that there was, but there wasn't, and that's why I rarely debate now. I hardly ever do this. I just take
you got seniority now. You just send in the minions now, right?
Well, no, cool. I don't send. I don't control anybody.
I know.
And they're in my
Legion of Doom and shit. I get
it. Guys, tell them about the secret army.
I felt really, really bad about Demon. The world's smallest violin played for you. So I don't want Branch. I don't want Branch to be ignored. Gempanda, you have a fan. Can you give Branch a shout out? He said that he would love that if you could do that.
Can I not ignore
Branch is indeed my second favorite globe earther, next to Scott Veach. I've said this before. Thank you.
Shout out to Branch. Scott Veach is.
Isn't that nice? Oh, isn't that?
To be honest, Scott Veach is my favorite. He's the only reasonable, level-headed one.
Yeah, he's the best by far.
He's a sweetheart as well. Scott Veach is the only acceptable glober.
He does have his shit together.
He does. He's level-headed and he's nice to debate against. He's not rude, crude, or he never raises his voice. He's a nice guy.
I get my feelings hurt too badly.
And his dad was a war hero.
That's true.
Didn't think I was going to say that, did you?
I mean, it's got nothing to do with him, but that's very nice of his father.
What does war hero?
Yeah, he flew. I don't know, like 250 combat missions at about 4,000 feet or something like that. Probably the most dangerous combat flying that's ever been done.
He killed a bunch of.
Well, that's what we consider a war hero, right? Someone who helped win a war.
Like murder people.
Well, that would be a different issue, wouldn't it? But we would still consider war heroes to be people who helped win a war, who were brave and in combat, right? That's what war hero means. Whether you think war is a nice idea or not, it doesn't really change that.
Oh, just
wars for the bankers.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I don't care. If you want to say that, that's fine.
No, I know it for a fact.
Okay. All right.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying really hard not to, but
I think I actually understand Gempanda. Yeah. Yeah, because people have given and they've been indoctrinated in a program and they went to war sometimes for other reasons, have given their lives. And so they are a war hero because for them, they were trying to do something good for you. But in reality, they relied to a program just like the globe model, like we talk about. So I can understand Gempanda's point on that, even though I don't want to. Damn it.
I'm not in favor of war. Who is? Nobody likes war, do they? But you know,
that's why we should stop propagating this globe lie. Maybe they would be like, well, then again, there's always been war. So
what would be the best way? What would be the best route, right, to stop propagating the globe lie, as you've just said? What process would we follow to do that?
Stop teaching it in schools from kindergarten.
Okay, how will we go about achieving that?
By stopping the flood of false information.
Right. So, I mean, I'm talking practically here. Look,
you can teach it as a theory. That should be done because it's not a fact. That's the point. This should be taught as a theory. In fact, kids should know both. Not just the globe that they throw in your face when you're a little kid. And then at the movies, when you go sit down at the movies, you're indoctrinated with that shit day in and day out. Are you kidding me? Yeah. No wonder the kids don't question it. They've been indoctrinated with the crap. The only way to break out of that is to actually open up your fucking mind and, hey, start with a clean slate. Stop believing everything you're told because that's exactly what people are doing, believing what they're told. I want verifiable.
What's up with all these
crap that's being said?
What's up with all these kids? Well, I have a new question. What's up with all these kids wearing NASA shirts? Like, shouldn't it be SpaceX shirts? Like that would be like me wearing like a Haley's Comet T-shirt or some shit like that. Like, what's up with that? NASA's not the front man right now. So what's up with this propaganda?
I think people think it's a cool graphic to have on a T-shirt, I guess. But my question was about, you know, everything that was just said in that kind of mini rant about, you know, education. Fine, if those are your goals, my question is, how do you plan to achieve them? How do you get from where you are now to this stuff?
That's what I'm working on, Gempanda. And I'm trying to work through my own state right now. I'm working with the mayor and everything else, and we're trying to do it differently because we can't. You're right. I can't go to the schools. They'll shut me down. They will not let me talk about any of this stuff. So therefore, I have to go outside of the school, use a library, bring the students to them. And I'm actually doing it through truth and try to bring about angular resolution and things like that to them. So make them think that stuff that they've been told is a lie. Look at the things deeper. We've already been taught that correctly in school. So yeah, I'm going to go step by step, slow as I have to. But at least I'm going to do something about it. Is anybody else doing it? No, they're too damn scared. That's the answer. Try somewhere. Start. I mean you, but I mean the rest of the world. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the point. You have to start freaking somewhere, one step at a time.
I tell people every day, man. I mean, there's people that know that when I walk into my store, they know what my views are. They know it for a fact. I've talked to them about it. I'm not shy about this stuff. I talk to people in person about this. The internet's not the only place, and actually doing it in person is actually a lot better.
But
every day.
I think maybe I'm kind of missing slightly what I'm saying, although I think Stacey.
No, I get what you're saying, but the whole thing is how are we going to overcome the Rockefeller school system that was put into place unless we go out and do it independently on our own and out of the school system? Because like she just said, Stacey said, we're not allowed to talk about this stuff in school. You'll get in trouble. You'll get kicked off of school grounds for bringing this stuff up. Stuff like that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, exactly.
And then just simply asking the question. Just simply asking the question, and then you'll have people like you guys who want to just say, oh, look at these stupid people who should just take a class and finish school because they're asking questions about their world. And we're just trying to tell y'all, like, hey, we're asking the same questions. Like, why don't you ask these questions? But you just want to turn around and tell us, oh, we're just stupid.
Gempanda,
how are we going to progress like that?
Tour? We had a UK university tour planned, 5 destinations, and we had that before the lockdown. There are people trying to make this an actual point for everybody to understand. Yes, we were going to hit the universities right out front. So yeah, there's people trying to do something. There is ways of doing this. We can't get in, then we'll go out front to the point to where we can stand, and we'll bring those kids to us.
Listen,
Get other people to hand out books and all those things. It's important.
I'm not saying there isn't ways to do it. I just don't think anyone or well, very many people seem to be following the routes that you would follow. Let me give you an example. And this is kind of more, I guess, more of an Americanized issue because we don't really have this in the UK. But I know in America, for instance, in some states, there's debate over what should be in a history book, right? And sometimes anyway, let's not get into that. But there's debate at school boards over which history textbooks they should use and what should be included in them. And so, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. I imagine you guys are approaching a school board somewhere or something like that. Those sort of routes to if that was the goal, for instance, to get it taught in school, that I think would be the way to go. Right?
There's open meetings for corrections and other things that you would like to see put into the textbooks and stuff. But
good luck with that.
The majority listen to the parents and
I'm sorry. Good luck with that.
But anybody can go. You can go. I can show you a video.
But ultimately, that's your goal. That's what you want to achieve.
No, you're right. You're right. Exactly. I have to reach more people first and get people to understand it, and actual parents to understand too. And when they start questioning their own schools and their board systems, that's when the change will happen. It's not going to be me doing it. It's going to be the parents saying, "I've had enough. I'm questioning my schools or what my kids are being taught."
Right, that kind of makes sense. So what you kind of, if you like, you're saying you need greater numbers, if you like, perhaps in one place or that are linked somehow, so that you can act as one and force pressure that way. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, and through the school, so through the parents that have the kids in school is the most important. And we're getting people doing that and having the understanding of signing petitions and stuff. You can actually get somewhere. I'm not even saying through the other ways that they want us to do it. You're going to have to do it completely opposite way of that. When you break the system, it's not the way they want it. The system's completely controlled. So we're going on the opposite side. Yeah.
Okay. If you've got a curriculum sorted out, though, for instance, if you were ready to go with this, I know you kind of mentioned you were perhaps working towards this. What, how can I put this? What can you do to make sure that everything that you're teaching is correct?
Absolutely.
Well, if I could step in real fast, everything that's being taught, like a lot of it can still go. All you have to do is take the theoretics out of it and then explain this is theoretical. This is what we can establish using an empirical method called a science.
Yeah, no.
It's about evidence. It's about evidence, honey. It's about literally theories are in that. They're teaching the wrong even gravity. People come in here and don't even know which gravity. They're like, what? There's 2 gravities? I mean, they don't even know what they're being taught. So therefore, we want to get to.
That's just
no.
I'm
talking about there's.
It is.
Okay, let's get to what we're talking about. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. If I go down that path, but I get you. Okay. But the point is there's stuff being taught in school systems right now that's theoretical, like you just said, that doesn't have to apply to these kids. If there's no proof, you have absolutely no proof in 2020 of this rotation and everything, then why are they teaching it to the kids? It's valid. It's
because
it's settled science.
We do have.
Well, then let's see it. Let's show the proof then, because we're waiting. Dang it, Gempanda.
Stacey, you're coming at this from a flat Earth point of view, and you've got to not for a moment. You've got to not at this from a flat Earth point of view, and the flat Earth point of view is space stuff. I can just ignore that. Well, you can't, And most people. Hang on. when you stick this to most people in the streets, and I've watched a lot of the Global Eye Tour. In fact, I've watched all of the Global Eye Tour.
Okay,
a lot
good,
of it
great.
twice.
You were there.
So right. So, but when you put this to people in the street, and when you say to them, "Why do you believe it's the globe?" 9 out of 10 of them will go pictures from space. Most of them put that top of their list. And so when you say there's no evidence of the Earth's rotation, you know, for me, when I used to come home from the club at 3 a.m, stick the telly on when the space shuttle was up there, and it was like live, you know, going around the Earth. I can see the Earth rotation on the TV every night. Do you know what I mean?
Of course you can on TV, right? Because it has to be real.
But for most people, I know you guys say that, but the first thing that you were offering me earlier on, or that I was being offered as evidence, was some video of something. And most people accept, you know, the world is on fire at the moment because of a video of something. You know, most
but
people,
this is not practical stuff.
Videos from down here, as opposed to pictures.
Most people accept video as evidence of something, and photographs.
But Jim, I never gave you one video.
And accounts of people who say that they've been to space. You know, all of that adds up for people, and I think. You know, the thing that I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling a bit. I will shut up soon. I'm nearly. But I think the thing that you guys get away with so easily, so often, is this whole space thing. You just write it off, and most people who argue with you let you get away with it. When the reality is, if you were trying to propagate this idea out into the general public, that's your biggest obstacle, in my humble opinion.
Yeah,
if you'll allow me to actually get people to look at the shit that NASA shows them, they start seeing it. Just with this last SpaceX nonsense, people were like, "Wait, what? Wait a minute, this looks like nonsense, right?" When they look at it, but a week prior, before the SpaceX rocket took off, mad hype about it, like, "Oh, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna be dope." And then as soon as I tell him, "Well, did you watch it?" No, he didn't really watch it. So I go through it with him and I show it to him. And he's like, "Wait a minute. This just looks like, this looks ridiculous."
Well, so, that's because you're going through showing what you think are anomalies. And
I just tell the guy, just watch it with open mind, just watch it.
The truth of it is, the vast...
What do you mean it doesn't...
Hang on. I'll explain. The vast majority of the millions of people who watched that launch thought it was awesome. I did. You know, I watched it and I thought it was awesome. That's most people's impression of it. Most people didn't look
just
at
like
it.
Star Wars.
Hang on. Most people didn't look at it and go, "That's ridiculous." They just didn't.
Well, I'm not really talking about the launch of the rocket itself. I'm more talking about the craft when it was in supposed space. And when they're flipping back and forth between cameras, and you can see one looks almost concave, the other one is convex.
Really? Right? You really need
to... Hold on. Time out, Jim. Jim and Chocolate. He's going to try to appeal to the fact that you have... Hold on. He's going to try to appeal to the fact that you have a jaded outlook. Here's the thing. This is the thing. I'm not talking about my jaded outlook. I know Chocolate. I know Chocolate. But listen, as a debater, that's his job. So let me finish because I'm in the mid-talk. I let you talk.
Sorry, I'm going to have to moderate through all of you. Please don't talk through each other, or I'm going to find the mute another motherfucker button. Let OJ make his point, and then you can respond, Jem.
All right.
Second of all, outside of the simple, like, it's flat and stationary, this is what we can observe. So now you need evidence or information to prove otherwise. Okay, that aside, you also made a point about, the mounting evidence that we've been to space. But the fact is there are billions, if you can believe that number, of people on Earth. And how many people have been to space? So it's not really mounting evidence if you look at it from that perspective. And that is just a logical perspective. Continue, Chocolate. I'm sorry.
I can't remember what the last point was now that I was going to respond to.
Well, can I say
I was just addressing your point. I'll make it real quick. Flat. I'm just addressing your point of, most people walking around on the street, their first response to it, why do you know it's a globe? Because pictures from space.
Right.
All I'm saying is that's kind of just the program. That's how that works, right? Everybody has had a globe in their classroom. Everybody had posters of the solar system in their classroom. I had all of that, right? And I thought it was cool at the time. So you just grow up with that fucking indoctrination implanted into your head, right? But until some people actually look at it, like me, I used to look at all the NASA shit. I looked at the moon landings way before Flat Earth, and I was just like, this just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem like reality, man, because I'm looking at it and it doesn't present itself to me as being real. I'm sorry, that's just how it looks to me. And then people now, when they look back and they see this shit, they're like, wait a minute. And even now in 2020, we're still putting up footage that a regular person, if they actually look at it and say, wow, this looks like crap. Well, I just think that's the indoctrination being broken right there, my man.
Well, I think
because it just, come on. You can't tell me all the footage that you've seen from NASA. You really, I'm sure
I haven't seen any footage at all from NASA that I think is fake. Not a single minute. Not a frame of video that I think is fake.
Can I ask one question in a second?
Hang on, just let me respond. Hang on, let me respond to the other point that I'm now 4 points away from.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is where the horizon, how the horizon changed in that SpaceX footage. Obviously, this is an effect of barrel distortion. You can you can very easily see it. It's concave towards the edge of the lens. It's more curved towards the top edge of the lens. It's very obvious. You can see it. It's the horizons are in different places on each camera, and that's why the curve looks different. Any normal person who's just considering that footage as is would say that. Now, if you've told your friend incorrectly that that's indicative of fakery, then maybe your friend he's not that knowledgeable on this subject, and he thinks you are, and he's taken your word for it.
And I've walked into conversations.
I'm still talking, but all you've done
is relax, bro.
Well, you talked for a long time, dude.
Your friend is not a science.
All you've done is tell him something that's incorrect. You've got away with bullshitting someone with something that wasn't true. That you didn't.
Well, let's always look at this.
That you didn't carefully consider for yourself. That you should have done. Because you're out there
appeal to the audience.
You're out there proclaiming the truth, and you've gone out and said something really, actually quite silly.
Okay, and does that count for the regular people who saw it and then just actually ran up on me and were like, I was watching this SpaceX shit.
Well, they aren't regular people.
Look what I ran into.
We aren't talking about regular people. We're talking about your mates who know you're a flat earther.
I'm talking about regular people.
Well,
they're not flat earthers. I'm talking about the people
where
who
are the newspaper reports from all the people demanding that it's saying it's fake?
That's what I'm talking about. Most people who were excited about it didn't even watch it, Jem. That's what I'm talking about.
Really quickly, Jem, you were on the Globe-wide tour. Okay, you met Sven at one point, right? Did you ever speak out there with them? Did you ever do any face-to-face connections with any of them on that tour with people on the street to know how the people will react? Did you one time give your time for that?
Do what? Hold on.
Did you give your time on the street speaking to regular people about what they thought that they lived on? Did you actually verify what the Globe-wide tour was all about?
Oh, no, I watched every single interaction.
I asked you a question specifically. You were on the tour and you met, let me finish. You were there. Did you not speak to them people there, like the content creators? Did you ever speak to anybody on the street? Did you speak on behalf of people on the street?
What would I do? Say, oh, the Earth's a globe. Passerby. Okay,
have you tried? Did you even try?
People would think I was mad.
But that's the point. Wait. That's the point. How can you speak on something if you haven't done it? Okay.
Well, because my basis for my claim, my 9 out of 10 people claim, is the in the street, the activism reactions that I've seen, and I've watched many hundreds of hours of flat Earth activism. Hundreds.
Well, then why did you even go to the tour, meet them, and shake hands? Why did you even go there? Why did you waste your time meeting flat earthers if you weren't going to be there to give any kind of interpretation of anything, Jen?
Well, I was quite happy to point. What I really would have liked to have done was told them about three simple things.
Oh, you were quite chummy, by the way, with people that you weren't chummy with before this tour, correct?
Can I finish?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, honey.
What I would have liked to have done was
that's not the question.
What was the question?
What have you done? Not what would you have liked to have done?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know what
you haven't done anything, but you're speaking like you have. Until
right.
you get on the street,
and I'm telling you why.
Wait. Until you get on the street, like stop for a minute.
All right.
Stop for until you get on the street like one of us and actually speak about the globe or anything on tour or any on the.
You're saying the same thing again, Stacey. That I have to wait 2 minutes.
You can't speak on something about other people.
And now you've interrupted me to say the same thing again.
Well, you think that you know what the word.
Stacey, what's his response?
Right, my 9 out of 10 claim is based on the hundreds of hours of video I've watched of flat Earth street activism. That's how I can say, how I think. Well, what else have I got to go on? My point is about how people react when they're presented with flat Earth. So it isn't about what happens when I present them with a globe. It's what happens when they're presented with flat Earth. And what happens with when they're presented with flat Earth, when they're asked how they know they live on a globe, most of them say pictures from space. They just do.
Okay.
You know what? I mean, I think the thing that all of you are ignoring right now is that Gempanda is absolutely correct. And let me tell you why. He says people look at the TV and they say that's a rocket going to space and everybody's happy about it. And they pat each other on the back and they say we went to space and that's real. I mean, the one that watched, obviously. And then, like they're given flat Earth proof and they're like, that's ridiculous. And even someone who's been in the flat Earth movement, like Gempanda, I guess, for a long time, and he still thinks that Chocolate told his friends some sort of incorrect advice. And then so he was misled from the path of true globedom, like by Chocolate.
Oh, no, he was just misled. He was just told something that's not true, and it sounds like
all I said was watch this.
Bullshit him with it.
No, sorry. All I did was say watch that because again, like I said, he was mad hype about it before it happened, and then after it happened, when I asked him about it, he said, "Oh, I didn't even really." So I had to tell him, "Could you watch it, please?" And then he did, and he came back to me like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Well,
so that's all I'm saying.
What specifically did he not like then without your prompting? What did he come up with?
He didn't like that the camera was flipping back and forth between showing a round Earth and a almost concave Earth.
Right, so all he needs is a little bit of knowledge about barrel.
See, he's off. He's off the path.
Please continue, Chocolate. Sorry. Please continue, Chocolate. Stop interrupting, Jim.
Yeah. He didn't like that. He didn't like how it looked. Yeah. I know you have your pre-programmed excuse for it. It's just a little weird when a camera can simply turn the Earth from fucking round to not round. It's just retarded, bro. On the same rocket? Come on. Happening on the same live stream at the same time? Flipping back and forth between two different Earths? Come on, man. Anybody who looks at that with any type of intellectual honesty is going to say, that's just a little weird. I don't care about your little barrel distortion fucking excuse, bro. Right? Well, then he looked at that. Then he looked at the rocket landing, and then all of a sudden, this live stream. Can I finish?
No, because you're on another point.
Finish, man.
On to this point.
Dude, let him finish.
All right, make.
Just one more point, because these are the two that stood out to him the most, was the rockets flipping back and forth and showing the two different Earths, right? And then you got the live stream that automatically cuts out when this rocket is supposedly landing back on the barge, right? Okay. And that's something that a lot of people thought was weird. And yeah, I know SpaceX already has their pre-programmed excuse for that too. I get it. But I'm talking about the regular folk who are not into this discussion and want to see a cool rocket landing back and then all they're met with is, oh, look, the live stream went down. We lost the satellite signal, and then it comes back on. Hey, look, ta-da! There's a rocket for you, right? So I'm pointing out that if a regular person actually pays attention to that type of shit, they might say, hey, they might start questioning it. Say, this doesn't make sense. But regular folk don't care. Oh, we went to space. Yay, great, right? Pictures from space. Like you said, that's what everybody says until they start looking at it, right? Until they start seeing, oh, NASA fucking photoshops their own shit. And they tell you, enough. I'm done. Go ahead. I'm done.
Right. Do cameras cause barrel distortion in an image?
Yeah, obviously.
Right. So why? So if they do, why is it? I don't care about that barrel distortion excuse. How is that an honest way to proceed?
Because I'm not talking about myself. Who knows what that is? I'm talking about a regular person who would just be watching it and
so did you tell him about it then, or did you just allow him to think that it
yeah, I told him they have an excuse. Because he asked me why is that happening? Why is that going on in the same live stream at the same time?
I'm glad you put it.
That's a little weird.
He'll look into what barrel distortion is, and he'll.
Yeah, I told him to look at it, but what I'm saying is he brought that to me after I told him to watch it. That's all I'm saying.
Right, but there's an answer for that. It's not anomalous. It doesn't help you, does it? Anyone in the general public that saw that and thought, what the fuck is going on there? If they were bothered about it enough, they would look into it and they would find the explanation for it. And the explanation is perfectly reasonable. Anyone can test it easily with a camera and any straight edge.
How come there's no barrel distortion in the program? No. Okay, but what about his second point? Okay, we accept your answer. Okay, finish your answer, and I also want to hear the second point.
Anyone can test it, and I don't think it's intellectually honest of you to just dismiss it and say, oh, barrel distortion. Although, to be fair, you did say you told him about it, so that's fair enough. As for the camera,
obviously, I don't think that's happening where it's happening anyway.
Okay. As for the camera cutting out, as you know, there is another perfectly logical explanation for that. But if you watch the one on a few days later, the rocket managed to make it all the way to the barge without the camera cutting out. So
that's lucky.
Well, it looks like it was on that occasion. So
not during the big all the fanfare for that live stream. We had to wait 3 days to get that live, right?
Plus, well, sometimes that's the way it is, right? But
no cutting out with the guys up in space. But
I've just
in
finished
2020, we can't get a satellite.
See, this is why you guys
can't
can't be taken seriously, because you just can't allow a person just to make a point.
His point, Jem, that's all. All you've done is talking through him.
Cut me off halfway through what I'm saying.
And everybody else.
What I was saying, I just wanted to respond.
Jem, trying to moderate. Yeah, trying to moderate.
I wanted to respond to his 5-minute diatribe that he'd already made twice. Anyway,
I wanted to make a comment on the whole situation. So when you're done, I got to say something.
All right. Well,
Jem, make your point. Then Richard's going to have a go. Thank you.
All right, the final point I wanted to make was there is footage of it landing on the barge. It's just sometimes it's from elsewhere, and sometimes it takes us a couple of days for it to work its way through the system. But that you know what I mean. But that's the way it is. If it's out there on a barge, you know what I mean? It takes a while for it to get back to somewhere else, right?
Very nice.
You know what I mean? But they have it. I saw some from a drone, I think, once where it was landing on a barge. So, you know what I mean? There is footage of it landing. It's just you guys go, aha, it cut out for a second. Fake. As if that in any way relates.
Well, I have
faking the whole thing, but apparently they couldn't. They're faking the whole thing, but apparently they couldn't fake this 1 second where it landed. That's just too complicated. Well, we'll just make it go black for that.
Do you have footage of the new rocket landing? Because I saw some that was posted that apparently was almost the same as the old footage that happened like 4 years ago. Somebody showed me. Do you have that?
I've watched all the reasons. I didn't watch. There was a launch yesterday, wasn't there? I haven't watched that.
No, I mean when the big SpaceX thing, when that rocket, that particular
I watched that
came
one,
back down.
The one with
Would you
humans
happen to
on
have
it, you're on
that?
about.
Yes.
Yeah. What about it?
Could you link that one? I don't know if I've seen that one yet. If you could
Chocolate,
link to
I
that.
think that's it there, dude. I found that out. I think this is the most recent one. Would that be correct, Gempanda?
I think is that the one where you actually see it land? I think it is.
Yeah, but that's the point I was going to make. Right.
Well, all right. I know what you're going to say. It goes horribly overexposed, so you don't really.
Yeah. So the overexposure again is like, look, let me put my hands over my fucking eyes and let's see nothing while it's landing again. It's just as bad as the other. Get the fuck out of here, you clown.
But how is this in any way a logical argument when there are hundreds and there must be hundreds of pieces of footage of SpaceX rockets landing. Hundreds, all the way to the launch pad, no problem. Hundreds of them. But no, this one, it's fake because they had to take out this 1 second. How does that make any sense in anybody's world, in a filmmaker's world, in a space engineer's world, it just doesn't make any sense.
Dude, I watch fucking King Kong on the telly. Does it make him real? Wake up. Fucking spastic brain. Look, honestly, you are retarded. Honestly, you are the biggest fucking retard I've ever met in my life. I've never met.
Is anybody claiming that a King Kong movie is evidence of a real King Kong?
Yeah, that's what you're claiming. Your space is real based on movies, you fucking clown.
No, that's a different thing, and you know it. Don't be silly. That's just being silly. And if you're going to go down that line, all video is off the table, isn't it? For you, all video, no more Black Swan. That's because that's video.
Well, this is the difference. The video that we're using is video that you already use, and we're just pointing out the defects in that shit, right?
Well, his argument
was showing video and going, hey, check this new shit out. No, we're showing the old shit that's already been there and saying, hey, point this out. Look at this. Look, there's a fucking scuba tank. Oh, look, there's some fucking wires. Oh, look at this. They're overlaying some shit. The ball's going through this fucking guy's hand. Bags over there. Come on, man. You got eyes. You can fucking see. You know damn right well they're faking that shit.
Let's not watch the video that my arguments are based on. Let's not watch those. Let's not go back and relook at that.
Let me respond to each point. Don't pile on, else his point is completely lost behind your point. Because then I have to respond to what you've just said, and I can't remember what he's just said. So if you pile on top of each other like this, his point is for.
Because you got to bring
you how fucking retarded it is, right?
Don't let me respond. Stop me from responding again. All talk.
Let him respond, and Wrench is also waiting, guys. So let him respond, and Wrench can go.
Right. I don't know that everything's being faked. I think all of the things you're talking about are just anomaly hunting nonsense. And to respond to what Breaking said, his argument was that if something's on video, it should be disregarded because Superman's on video and that's fiction. Well, I think that's a nonsense argument. And if you're going to follow that line, which is a rejection of everything on video because some things on video are fictional, then all your videos are gone. No more J. Toller Media, no more Black Swan, no more 200 proofs the Earth's not a spinning ball. It's all gone. So if that's what you want, if you want to keep making that stupid, ridiculous, intellectually dishonest Superman argument, keep making it. But it's ridiculous.
No, let me respond to him. Let me respond to him, yeah. What I'm saying is, Gemsy, can you not hear I'm responding to?
Oh, Gems.
I'm just asking if he's some type of anime character or something.
Well, that's pointless then, isn't it? Go on, Breaking.
Yeah. The point I'm making is King Kong was on the tele. You're saying that space is every video, and that's what we see, so we have to believe it. But guess what? We ain't got the fucking brain cells of a tiny little fish in a jar. We can use our initiative. We can use our research by looking through the video.
Well, if you want,
don't interrupt, please. I'll let you finish.
You're dropping out.
Yeah,
Breaking. If you okay.
point I'm making is when you can see hundreds of anomalies through all the NASA videos about space, the ISS, and everything else. Come on, Gempanda, what you're saying is, I'm blind, I can't hear, and I know nothing. You know, every single video is truthful. My gosh, look through the amount of anomalies. We're talking about common sense here. And what you've done is you left your fucking common sense at the door before you come in here.
Well, if you actually look into the process of anomaly hunting in photographs, and you look at, read about that, Google anomaly hunting and read about it. It's just the fact that you think you found hundreds of anomalies is just, for me, is just more evidence of how ineffective and that process of anomaly hunting is for determining facts about reality. It's just anomaly hunting. You could take any bunch of photos or any video, and I'll be able to find you stuff in it that is anomalous. And people
So
have
are you
proved
saying
it.
stuff
Hang
that
on,
you can
I'm still making the point. People have proved this time and time again. I can point you to a great video where on YouTube where someone does it like a little challenge where you have to pick which photos got the problem with it, and then the next week he tells you which one it is. It's just not an effective means of determining facts about reality. Final point, which is what you said. Now you're saying because it's on television. I'm not saying believe something that because it's on television. You're saying, I think, disbelieve it because it's been broadcast on television. I don't think that's reasonable. I think most people...
You're putting something in the same...
Nearly there. I think most people... I think most people... I think most
people... can verify it and put it in the same
basket or something.
I think most... go to the beach.
I think most people...
verify.
I think most people consider video to be good evidence of something. Courts do. We use CCTV all the time to convict people. Body cam.
There's a difference between that, dude. You're talking about video where you're never someplace that you're never going to go. And 99.9% of us are never going to go. And we've got to take their word. 100% their word for what the fuck's going on. So if you choose to believe that, and we can find hundreds of anomalies in their video that you will never go to and I will never go to, right? And still choose to believe it, then, the joke's on you, man, I guess.
Well, like I say, I don't think anomaly hunting is very effective.
You would say I'll
also say, go ahead.
You would say there's a big difference between going somewhere where I could buy a P900 and get on a plane and go to California and go do those observations myself, right? With the oil rigs. I think I could actually do that and replicate that if I wanted to. Right? But neither you nor I could go to space and replicate any of that, right?
Well, you don't.
Yeah, you could admit that there's a big difference between that type of a video where anybody can get on a beach and fucking take a video, and then the other one, which is space, where only astronauts can go. Can you admit that there's a big difference between the two, Jim?
No, I can't.
No, okay.
Why not? Because that's kind of logically consistent. We can't verify this stuff because you can't go to space. Why don't you think? Okay, respond.
Because I don't think that that's why most people believe a piece of video. Like, for instance, what's happened in Minneapolis. Most people don't think, well, I know that's true because I could go to Minneapolis. They think, I know that's true because it's recorded on high definition video. It's got sound.
Give me a fucking break.
Well, they do. They don't think.
Yeah, they might do that.
I believe it because I can go to Minneapolis.
It doesn't make it right. And you trying to make an excuse for it is pathetic. Literally pathetic, man.
Make an excuse for what? I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about verifiable.
That damn ignorant.
What?
We're talking about the difference about going to a beach with a fucking camera and then going to space. There is a stark difference. 99% of the people can get a camera and go to a beach. 99.9% of the people can't go to space.
But
so it's 99.9% of the people. That is unverifiable, isn't it?
Well, for a start, that's a figure that you've just plucked out of your arse. So
well, that's 99.9% of the world think they live on a ball.
Look,
so
the point
we
is,
understand that we can, 99.9% of us, because only a certain amount of people have been to space, The vast majority of the population of the Earth can get a camera and go to the beach. The vast population of Earth can't get in a rocket and go to space. Is that correct?
No, not in any way.
We can all get in.
Incorrect. It's
so we can all get in rockets, then, can we? We can all fuck off space.
Can I answer? If you presented a piece of evidence, like, for instance, the black swan that we all know and love, most people can go to a beach, but that's not going to the black swan. If you want the black swan to be believed, people, according to you, have got to verify that and go there. And of course, the vast majority of people on Earth can't do that and wouldn't want to. But more to the point, this is
they could. That's the point. More to the point is the argument.
Please let me finish.
The argument. It's
all
not
right,
the location.
Don't let me make my point.
Kidding?
It's more important.
Yeah, go ahead and explode, bro. Nobody cares about your feelings out here, bro.
Jesus,
point?
I'm trying to make it, but you're talking, so I can't.
Like your point. Let me go get the next point.
I have, but you've stopped me from making it, and now you're saying you don't have a point.
Bro, you have no
Just
point.
be quiet so I can make it, then you'll find out. If you're right and I don't have a point, I'm about to look really silly, aren't I?
Yeah.
Look silly, bro.
Hold on. I want him to respond. Oh, he's gone. Oh, no, he's still there. I want you to respond about everybody being able to get into a rocket and go to space.
I'd love to respond. And the point of this argument is about what people in the street believe and why they believe it. And most people don't disbelieve something because they can't immediately go there. That's silly. That's not a reasonable reason to reject video and photographic evidence of something. And you guys can pretend it is, but it isn't.
It's pretty
subjective. Me, that is not verifiable proof. None of what you see, that is just believing. They're literally just believing. Literally. That do you understand what verifiable means? Gempanda, do you know what verifiable means? Literally?
No, I'd love to know. Please tell me. What does it mean?
It means something that you can actually go and verify yourself if you want to. Like they just said, we can go verify, the Canigou to the French Alps photos. It have been done several times, and even in infrared, double infrared.
But you haven't done it, and you still believe it.
Don't interrupt me. Now we can go finish, we can go actually, test these laser tests, and we can actually repeat these laser tests. You can't go to space. You can't go up there and take a photo. So none of that shit is verifiable. What we have is actual verifiable evidence. You have no verifiable evidence. That's the point.
Well, first of all, that's not true. There's plenty of what you would call verifiable evidence.
Share one with me.
All right, please. Cut me off after half the sentence. Go ahead. Because we. All right, you talk again. Go on, say some more.
Yeah. Jem, can I talk to you for just a real quick second? I mean, it goes back to a few months ago.
Go ahead.
So you probably don't remember me. It's a really offhand conversation. We probably talked for about 5 minutes on your server. We're talking probably early March, like probably the 5th of March, around there. We had talked about the virus, and I had said people don't need to panic yet, right? Just let for the data come in and wait and see what happens. And you went thermonuclear on me, and you're like, I'll panic if I want to,
right?
And I'm like, yeah, do you remember that conversation?
I do remember that conversation. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. I go, that's okay. It's okay to panic, but at the end of the day, panic is not going to solve anything.
Yeah. I'm not sure we're talking about panic, but anyway, yeah.
I wasn't telling you that you were wrong.
You were very right. So let's talk about verifiable.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. If you would just wait. Okay.
Go ahead.
So now we're talking about in March. From my point of view, it appeared to be it was going to be a big deal, but it turned out to be even maybe a bigger deal than some people were thinking, and maybe not as big deal as other people were thinking. But the goal was to continue to keep talking with logic and reason and science, which meant to be talking with each other instead of talking at one another. That's the only thing I really wanted to say. Is I think that was at the time it started off, it was kind of hot, and you were kind of screaming. But at the end of the conversation, I thought it was okay.
Because I was shitting myself, mate, because I knew my business was about to go down the pan. And to be fair, I was right to be shitting myself because things are not good.
Yeah, and I got that, and I really thought that it was really more important for the cooler heads to kind of like level things out. So in this conversation
eventually,
here,
but you know what I mean. At that time, I was in a. I'm happy to admit I was in a state, and I think sometimes you need to be in a bit of a state as well. I think because anyway.
Pass if it was your business, but man, if you were like wearing your face mask in your car or some shit like that, then you don't get no pass.
See, for me, I think it's for verifiable for science. I mean, I'm an old guy, okay? So I was 8 during the Apollo mission, and I grew up, and and basically we're talking about things will be better in the future. There was a lot of violence in society in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, So I had expected by this time. So why I'm a flat earther was I expected by this time there would be an intergalactic space race. There would be people reaching about what society, almost like which society is going to expand to the next galaxy. But yet,
don't you think in the 70s we all got sort of caught up in that whole space race thing, and we saw this leap forward in technology, and we all just thought it was just going to keep going in that same direction, and it didn't. So. Yeah, but we did think there were going to be cities in space and holidays on the moon and all sorts of. I mean, I think it's a US senator or some politician. I think he might have even been higher up than that. And the day after Apollo 11 landed on the moon, he said he came out saying he wanted to ask for funding for a landing on Mars. That's how excited people were about this sort of stuff at the time. So I think there was a sort of, an element of that. People they imagine this bright future, and it's never quite how we expect it to be, is it?
Yeah, it's like where people kept saying in the 60s and the 70s, give peace a try. And there's still been endless limited war in third world countries over some sort of limited resource that people really don't need.
Right. I mean, there's a great interview you can probably find with Arthur C. Clarke somewhere, and he talks about how people in the future will be able to communicate instantly with each other. It's done in like the 1950s or something. And he says, there'll be a day when a man will sit on a beach in Tahiti and do business in London. He actually conceives the internet in this TV interview and talks about how we can do business and how we can communicate. He and like I say, this is in the 50s, maybe really 30 years before we had internet. And then directly afterwards, right after he's said this brilliant prediction about the internet, he talks about how we'll also all have monkey butlers to run around servers in our houses. So it just goes to show that even the cleverest people who can make the most astounding predictions of how technology will advance could also get it hopelessly wrong at the same time.
Like in the 80s, I was in the military and stationed in the South, and I went to Disneyland for the opening of Epcot. Okay, to kind of get my age away here. But when I went to Epcot, it showed some teenagers on some sort of weird hover vehicle that looked like, like the speed racer thing from.
Right.
Then the parents would say, "Don't stay up too late. I want you home by 9." And the kids were in the middle of the desert, like the Sahara Desert, and it made it seem like the parents were like on the East Coast, like in Boston or some shit. Right. And I was like thinking, holy crap, the world of tomorrow? You're going to say, kids, here's the car keys. Go check out the Sahara Desert. Be home by dinner. Fast forward to 2020, we're seriously bombing people who live in the Sahara Desert for some sort of bullshit resource that no one needs. I mean, like, really, at the end of the day, do you really need all this clean coal and this oil and these fossil fuels? Why haven't, like, green, like, power sources taken over at least. If somehow the ISS can function completely off solar panels, why can't my mini mart function on a few solar panels?
Well, I think that's a sort of a, if you like, a technological paradigm shift that we're working towards. I mean, I interviewed actually a few months ago for a job working for a power company, and I had to read up all about this company, and their whole shtick at the moment is all about how electricity generation is changing, and now they're having to take electricity from, rather than from one big central power station, they're getting it from people's solar panels. And then they have, in some factories where there's a lot of heat generation, they have a system for recycling that heat and generating electricity with it. And there's also this wave power and wind power and all these things contributing, because essentially they've got to. Because in Europe, I think by, is it 2030 or something like that, it's very soon, all new vehicles will be electric. There'll be no new petrol vehicles. And you imagine all of the car journeys in Europe, every single car journey, all of the energy used up in those car journeys that's burning in those engines, all of that energy has now got to be generated from electricity.
Hydrogen-based electric vehicles.
Massive change.
Hydrogen.
It's a massive change in the quantity of electricity that we're going to need. Vast change. The guy at the interview told me that as things stand, the only way that they could cope with this change is to build 6 new nuclear power stations, which for our country is that would be a vast, enormous, huge investment.
Yeah, I would think that battery power would be a lot farther along than it would be, right? Especially for vehicles, considering that we were using, a fucking dune buggy on the moon that was just battery powered, and that bad boy could move, couldn't it? You ever seen them videos of that dune buggy rolling on the moon is all battery powered? I wonder whatever happened to that. I wonder why it just went dead for a couple decades, right?
Well, I mean, it's a really
I wonder why they weren't trying to push that.
I can tell you.
They had the technology.
I can tell you why. It always amazes me that you guys don't know, because a thing I hear so often in Flat Earth is NASA spent $52 million a day. I mean, you guys are clued up on their budget and you're pissed off about it. Well, you aren't the only people who are pissed off about it. When NASA landed on the moon in 1969, despite the fact that some senators were very excited about it, polls of the general public showed there was only a 53% approval rating directly after Apollo 11, when people were
Nixon. Just because most people
Nixon was
still,
an asshole.
Skeptical, true skeptics, right?
Well, I think
and knew there was a crock of shit.
No, I think
people didn't trust Nixon. It had all to do with. Go ahead. Sorry, Jim.
I think because most people thought, like they often do now, that there's better things to spend that money on. We've got bigger problems here on Earth that we need to deal with before we send people to the moon or send people to space. And that's why Nixon defunded Apollo. He said he did when he came when he came into presidency. He commissioned a committee to look at NASA's plans and their expenditure and all of that. And they concluded, and this is all public, it was published in 1970, their report, you can go and read it, and they lay out in that report basically what we've seen from NASA since 1970. And what they say is they want to develop a space shuttle and a space station. Well, the space station actually never got funded. It was going to be Space Station Freedom. And the basis plans for that eventually became the plans for the ISS. But there was never enough US funding to actually do a space station for USA on its own. The only way they could do it.
Being because the US people didn't really buy into the idea.
Well, that's not exactly correct, Gavin.
You can say what you think their reasons are for not buying into the idea, but essentially you're right. People think there's other things to spend money on, and they only want to spend so much on space. There's only so much political support for it. And that's why we haven't been back to the moon, because people they don't want to spend that money on going to the moon. They want to spend it on other stuff.
Like war and bombs and.
Yeah, but
that kind of
Space
stuff.
Station Freedom was supposed to be a refueling station to go to Mars. So ISS doesn't do that. ISS can't even refill to go to the moon.
That's right. I mean, they had all these big plans to keep humans, doing planetary exploration. But part of the NASA plan was space shuttle, space station. The idea of that was to make space travel more every day, having a reusable spacecraft. And the other part of the plan was to have more unmanned robotic craft exploring the planets. And that's what we.
But freedom. Yeah, freedom didn't mean human freedom. It meant freedom to move across the universe.
Right.
Reagan addressed this when he said, like, when we establish a space station freedom, it won't be about American freedom. I know I'm not quoting exactly. I'm kind of paraphrasing.
Well, generally,
it's going to be about freedom to move to the through the solar system and see what's going on. It's going to be I think he kind of said the phrase like gas station for the galaxy.
I mean, American presidents have often hinted at, sharing space programs with other countries. Kennedy actually twice made statements in two speeches. He made statements about sharing the moon landings with Russia before, obviously, before he was assassinated. But he did that twice because he knew he was going to get a bit of a battering from the American public for spending all that money on going to the moon. It wasn't really a immensely popular idea politically. And that's the case since. Americans want, they want their taxes spent on solving the problems in America, not sending men to the moon, understandably.
Well, this is why, like here, even since the 80s, when Reagan talked about space station freedom, there's been a drinking water crisis. Like Native American reservations have had little to no access to fresh drinking water still to this day. And now Flint, Michigan, but yet NASA spends $100 million every 39 hours. That could repair the drinking water crisis 7 times every 100 hours.
You make a compelling argument that I cannot refute.
And that's why I kind of feel like this top-down command economy, federal government overreach is why there hasn't been an advancement of science in over 50 years. So why not defund NASA, privatize it, and people like you or other people who really care about these issues can pool their expertise, their resources together and pick up where the federal government has failed.
Well, I think there's an element of that anyway, because of course NASA doesn't really build spacecraft, does it? It commissions private companies to build spacecraft for it.
Well, defense contractors.
Yeah.
Really.
So, but I mean, I really think that's what it's all about. I mean, and I've always said this. I think if you're looking for the big lie in NASA, the big lie is that it's just about science, when clearly on multiple occasions it's been about developing defense technologies, and still is. And that's definitely okay. There's great science going on, and I would certainly disagree. There's been no science advances in the last 50 years. I definitely disagree with that. But there's certainly science going on, but it's also definitely developing defense technologies, and always has.
Which really looks at, when people talk about, the American defense budget, right? Like, cut that. But if you look at the American defense budget, it outspends 14 other nations, 13 of which are allies. And if you look at space budgets, NASA outspends the next 7 agencies combined.
Right.
But yet somehow there's not enough money. How much money would it take at that point?
Well, like I say, I mean, it's always a compelling argument, and this is why it always fascinates me when you guys can't figure out why people haven't been back to the moon, because it's just not politically popular to send people to the moon because of the reasons you're stating. Because it's always an easy problem that you can point to here on Earth and say, look, why the fuck aren't you sorting this out? It's only going to cost you $10 million, and the problem's fixed.
Dude, in the 80s and 90s, man, everybody was on board with this shit.
Jem, you've been around this argument for 3, 4, 5 years. What's the biggest argument that flat earthers have regarding space?
Biggest argument. Well, I'll tell you the one that rocked my world. Shall I tell you that? The one that rocked.
Jedi, it's like we're like our brains are linked because I know exactly why you're asking that.
Space. but I can tell you the one that knocked me off balance was the nonlinear aircraft model. That thing we were talking about earlier, the one that says the flat, stationary, non-rotating Earth or whatever. The first time I saw that, I was watching a Robert Bassano video, and he showed that, and confirmation bias kicked in, and my first thought was, he's faked this, right? So I looked up the document, I found the document, and there was just this moment, right, when I laid my eyes on the document and the words were in there, and I really wasn't expecting to see the words in there. I thought he'd photoshopped it and something. And I thought, what? I tell you what, just for a moment, my heart missed a beat. And then I thought, hold on a minute, what is this document you're looking at? And then I started reading it, and I asked a few people, and then I got an understanding of it. But that was one that did knock me off balance, I have to admit. I was like, what the... Because, in the end, for me, it wasn't a flat Earth evidence. But
is that about space, though? I thought it was about space.
Space, I just... Nothing. I mean, all I see is this anomaly hunting. And I also see some things where it was mentioned earlier that like the clip of the guy when he's undoing that panel on the ISS and it looks like he drops that nut. That I often see that carted around as a tiny little clip that's been carefully edited to make it look bad. And if you watch the whole thing, then you understand what's going on.
Come on, man, it ain't edited that like that.
Have you watched?
You act like that shit's edited. Yeah, I've seen the whole thing, of course.
Right, let me get some more.
Always go to the source, man. And it's exactly what happens. He drops the nut.
Well, if you want to believe that, I don't see a nut dropping.
Well,
it looks, and the video's been cut.
Jedi wants to get back to his point.
He dropped the nut because they tried to make it sound like there was zero gravity, and there's not.
If you want
there's
to believe
not
that.
Zero gravity.
But if
there
that
is gravity, even if flat Earth, there's still gravity there.
But if that's the case, why was the video cut in the way that it was? Why is it whenever I see it, I only ever see these few seconds of it, and I don't see the bit that follows it up? Because without that...
Because they tried to make it sound like the government lied and tried to make it sound like there was zero gravity once you get about 200 miles up. And there isn't. There's still gravity.
But my point is, when I watch the whole video, it doesn't look suspicious. When I watch
there's a downward motion.
Hang on. But when I watch the little flat earther clip, it does look suspicious. And I think that's because the little flat earther clip deliberately makes it look suspicious.
How the fuck can you make it deliberately look suspicious when it's the same video as the original one? I'm just saying, even if they show it lapped a couple times over and over again, to reinforce the fact that the nut's fallen, it's still the same.
That's the problem. The government said they wouldn't fall, and it did. So why did it fall the direction it fell?
It did,
and it fell down.
It did.
It fell downwards.
It didn't.
I don't know.
So this is how
you're talking about the toilet video, right? Where the guy was screwing around. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Jedi, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you.
Yeah, no. It's because I'm kind of interested in the response that Jen gave. He just going, videos and this, that, and the other. That's not the biggest argument we've got against space, mate, and you know that. The biggest argument that we have against space, the vacuum, is it can't next to a pressurized system without a physical barrier, so we've got gas pressure. That's the biggest argument, isn't it? Because it kind of goes against natural law.
Completely ridiculous. I don't know how any of you have been silly enough to believe that, really.
What? So you want to keep gas somewhere, the only way that I can do it is to physically contain it, and your necessary antecedent of gravity doesn't affect gas.
I mean, what's the best response to this? This is how I look at this, and this is why I can't get how you guys have bought into this so easily. If it's true that the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, and for 200 years people have been learning about the second law of thermodynamics, they've gone on to study it in higher education. Some of them have gone on to careers where they've used it. And this has been going on for 200 years. And the only human being to go, hold on a minute, the vacuum of space violates this law. The only person is Quantum Eraser and Nathan Oakley, who have never...
No, why don't you pick up a...
Please don't interrupt. Let me finish. They've never done a scientific experiment. They've never demonstrated this to be true. Listen, let me finish.
You're building a straw man, and again, you're using Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser.
Let me finish the straw man. Let me respond. Okay, you must censor me. I've got to be censored. Right. So they've never done an experiment. They've never demonstrated this claim to be true in any way. They've just read some stuff from a few cherry-picked citations, and from this, they've constructed this nonsense that no one on Earth, apart from them, is claiming to be true.
I did before I even started watching their channels, mate.
Well, I don't believe you.
Well, then that's just your opinion, mate. No, I've asked this question since I was a little kid.
Opinion, wouldn't it? So
Jem, I want you to answer the question. If I want to keep gas dispersing into an available space, how do I do it?
I have no idea. I'm not interested in this question. It's a nonsense. It's not. I am. Establish that your claim is true. Your claim is.
It is.
Well, establish that. Establish that the vacuum of space. Establish that the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Show me how you know that is true.
Because every single time I want to contain gas dispersing into available space, I have to stop it with a physical barrier. Because entropy would mean that our atmosphere would disperse into that space. There's no physical barrier.
Understanding of it.
Then can you give me a demonstration of not a physical barrier?
No, you need to give me a demonstration of your claim.
I am. Every single time I want to keep gas somewhere, I've got to contain it. Every time you want to keep gas somewhere, you have to contain it.
Yeah, and on Earth, it's contained by the gravity well of Earth.
But the gravity well, what's a gravity well?
Well, I mean, if you don't know,
No, I'm asking you. I do know. I'm
not my
asking
job to tell you what that is. You should
know
the
mass of the Earth sitting in the fabric of space-time, bending and warping it. Yeah. So is there any science? Yeah, I do, Jem. Please don't interrupt me. I'm really trying my hardest not to interrupt you. Right? Okay. So the demonstration of keeping gas in places is physical containment. You're saying a presupposition of a ball Earth in a space, fabric of space, is bending and warping and keeping the gas here. You've got a demonstration of this.
I haven't said any of that. I didn't.
Well, you said gravity well.
Right, I said there's a gravity well. That's right.
Yeah. You just declared naturally there's a gravity well. Explain your gravity well. I've just done it for you. Can you do it?
I don't have to. If you want to deny it, go ahead and deny it. I don't care.
To prove it.
I don't look. One thing again, I can't prove things to you. Only you can decide if they're proof. And why would I do that? What would be the point?
Saying gravity well isn't proof. Again,
I'll tell you why. Because it is the biggest argument that we have regarding the space being a vacuum, and you can't answer it. You don't want to answer it because you're not intellectually honest enough. You kept strawmanning with Nathan Oakley. Shut up. You kept strawmanning with Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser and all of this fucking bollocks. I'm just asking you how you keep gas from dispersing into an available space, where every single other demonstration, when we're talking about vacuums, you need a container.
All right. Well,
everything doesn't affect gas, does it?
Show me any reputable source that agrees with you, with your idea that the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics.
I got that covered. I got that covered.
Any reputable
You're the dumbest person here, and you're talking the most. Shut up!
You shut up. You shut up.
You friggin' clown. I got it right here.
You shut up.
Let's not get emotional, guys. Come on. You guys,
Don't come in here bellowing at me to shut up.
Gas expansion into a vacuum, mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, infusion. Shut up! Gas expansion into a vacuum, mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, infusion, colligative effects, and osmosis. Each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy. You're saying a decrease in entropy. You're in violation of the second law of thermodynamics.
Have a reputable source which says, show me listen to what my request is first. I want a reputable source that says the words that the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics.
There it is.
Go on, save him. Go on, save him.
There it is, right there.
Where?
Right there in live stream. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong damn 1 second.
Of course you are.
Of course you are. You friggin' punk ass.
Arena QE.
Right there. You don't need a source saying the vacuum of space because they're not going to say, shut up.
Right, this doesn't say what I asked it.
It's the second law of thermodynamics. Listen closely.
I want the words. Listen closely. I want the words. The vacuum
expansion into a vacuum is increasing entropy. That's it.
I want that. I want the
Your
words.
position is decreasing entropy.
I want
it's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics on its face. That's it. You're done.
Again, this is just your opinion about
entropy.oxy.edu. What is the second law of thermodynamics, Gempanda?
I muted him because I don't know where the moderation is at, but I'm not going to allow him to talk through. Can you repeat that, please, Quantum? And then
I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave if you're going to be biased.
Hold the fuck on.
Everyone is biased. Everyone is biased, man.
And you. I want this conversation because I led him down this fucking path. So, without getting emotionally upset, Gem, listen to the response, Quantum Eraser, as kindly as you can, please.
From the entropy site, .oxy.edu, gas expansion into a vacuum, the mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis, each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy. You're saying there is a decrease in entropy in direct violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Over.
Okay. I'll respond to this. If I'm interrupted, I'm going to leave, okay? All this is what I said at the start. This is just Quantum Eraser constructing his opinion about this.
Entropy.oxy.edu. It's not me.
All right. He's constructing his opinion about this.
It's not my opinion.
He's interrupted me twice now. Okay?
Because you are falsely accusing me.
I let you speak.
Entropy.oxy.edu. Did I say Quantum Eraser?
Right.
Jim, you yelled at me and I'm a woman. Jim, if I
why are you interrupting me now? Why can't I just answer?
Stacey, everybody else, Stacey, Gempanda and Quantum are going to have this conversation brilliantly as they can. Everybody else, please shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I want moderator. He said that it's my opinion. I just gave him a citation from.
He's saying the same thing again before
I'm not done yet.
You were done. You've said this. You don't need to say it.
You said it was my opinion. It is not. We're not going to let you monologue for 10 minutes.
You're monologuing.
It was my opinion.
Answer. I'm still being
opinion.
Please mute him so I can respond. Please. It'll take me 2 minutes. I'll be gone.
Please don't build a straw man. Please don't build a straw man. He didn't say that. It's not his thoughts and feelings. He's giving you the reference.
Right. This reference does not say that the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. That is a conclusion that Quantum Eraser is drawing from this statement. This statement does not say that, and he will find no reputable source that does. Even though he claimed he could, there will be none. He's a liar.
Gas expansion into a vacuum increases in entropy. I just gave it to you. You don't need to say it. A story doesn't need to say a man. He can say a brother, a grandfather, a father.
Again,
it doesn't need to say that.
Can you answer this question? Time out. Can you answer this question, Gempanda? What you're saying that's his interpretation? Is there another interpretation or something?
Well, if
just give it. What other conclusion can we draw? That's all I want to know.
If you want to ask me a question, I'll answer the question, but you don't tell me how I can answer it first. Okay?
Yes, what other conclusion can you draw? That is the question.
I'm not interested in that. The point is...
Well, then if you're not going to answer that, you're not really answering my question or his question.
I want to make my point. That's right. I'd like to make my point about what he said.
You already did, and it's incorrect. Gas expansion into a vacuum is an increase in entropy. We have gas pressure, you have a vacuum. It's an increase in entropy, right? You're saying there's a decrease in entropy in violation of entropy. The second law of thermodynamics.
I haven't said any of that.
Yes,
I've
you
never
did.
said any of that.
Yes, you did. We heard you. It's on
Lying,
tape.
You're lying again. I never said any of that. I didn't say any of that. All I've said is...
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. All I've done is ask for a citation which supports this claim. And you can't provide...
I just gave it to you.
No, you didn't.
Gas expansion into a vacuum is increase in entropy, Gempanda.
And that is you drawing a conclusion from that statement.
It's not a conclusion. I just read it.
Interrupting me.
I just read it.
Right.
Question.
The conclusion.
Jem, what's entropy?
The conclusion that you are trying to get to is the vacuum of space is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. That's the conclusion that I want to see written down from a reputable source.
You're too stupid to understand what I just said.
I don't need to understand it. I need to see those words written down.
You don't need to see those words. I just gave you those words. Gas expansion into a vacuum is an increase in entropy, sir. Don't over-talk me. You're the dumbest person in here.
Give me your opinion about those words.
Expansion into a vacuum, Gempanda. Don't over-talk me.
It's your opinion.
Don't over-talk me. Gas expansion into a vacuum is an increase in entropy. That's it. You're done.
Anyway, I'd like to say one more thing if I can before I go.
No, we don't want to hear you. We want to know if you know what the second law is. State it, please.
No, I'm not going to jump through your silly hoop.
Yeah, you don't know what it is. That's the problem.
You need to establish your claim.
I just established it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No,
I did.
You just
it's
read
in the live stream. You can say nuh-uh and dodged and walked past the graveyard, whistling all the way, but you're finished.
Well, the fact is...
yeah.
Just let me answer.
You didn't cite anything to
go on. You have a go now. You interrupt me now. Go on.
Okay. Why not? You've monologued here for the past 3 hours.
You've looked at that passage. You've read it out. And
you don't know what I did.
Why are you interrupting me?
Can you divine what I do? What are you working at a carnival? Are you working at a carnival? You can divine what I did.
You've just read it out in front of me. I didn't have to divine it.
That doesn't mean I haven't worked in it for all my life.
Just be quiet and let me make my point.
Be quiet. We don't want to hear your bullshit. Its expansion into a vacuum is an increase in entropy. You are saying that it's a decrease in entropy. No, you're in violation of the second law.
Never said that.
That's what I'm saying. You're finished.
I've never said that.
We've already been over this. It's on tape.
Let me finish. Just let me make one point and then you can talk forever, okay?
Better be concise and be correct.
Shut up, you dickhead.
No. You shut up!
Hold on. That is last chance. Come on, let's at least answer the question, Jem.
Well, he shouldn't be telling me that my answer needs to be concise, should he?
Well, it would help if your answer was concise, mate, to be fair.
Do you think he's been concise?
I just want you to answer. Hold on, please.
That's concise.
Yes,
Jeff.
he's giving you the reference. He read it out for you, which is the problem that you need to address. I don't think you understand.
He needs to address it. His problem is he's making a claim about this.
They won't even let you talk, Jedi.
He's a liar, and
your sister doesn't mind. You're the dumbest person in here. Where did I lie? Where did I lie?
Watch my channel. You're about to see him lying live.
Channel, you're a piece of shit. You don't even know what an independent variable is. I had to tell you 3 years ago. Get the fuck out of here.
Plenty of episodes of him lying.
You're a clown. You're a clown. Get your ass over to your channel.
Anyway, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you until
you've enjoyed. You're full of shit. You're the dumbest person in here. Get your ass out of here.
Jem, everyone.
Representative of the debate is here now. So we'll leave you to. I'll leave you to your shouting lunatic.
Hear your color commentary.
Hold on.
Panda.
Hold on.
How you guys give this guy any credibility?
Jem,
he's a
trying to ask the question.
You don't even know the second law.
I don't need to.
Yeah, you bet you don't.
I do know the second law, but I don't need it. I don't.
What is it?
I'm not going to tell you. I am not jumping through your hoops, moron.
Go ahead. What is it?
Until you've supported your nonsense about
what is the second law.
You establish that what you say is true. Show any reputable source
is the second law
in the world that agrees with you. I
don't care. We're not in the business of agree and disagree. This isn't subjective. This isn't our favorite color. This is science.
He's gone.
Get the fuck out of here.
I just want to point out, sorry guys, I just want to point out for the court that as soon as we started circling around this point, which I was trying to get to, he took his first exit and run because he can't answer this question. He doesn't want to answer this question because it ruins his fucking idea of a spinning ball in a fucking vacuum. That's why he gets upset, and that's why he's gone.
Yeah, he's such a doofus, then he tries to overtalk with his daft monologues. Doesn't know what entropy is. Doesn't know what the second law is. Doesn't know dick. Doesn't know the difference between angular velocity and tangential speed. Didn't know what an independent variable was 3 years ago. None of these people did. They called me independent variable John and laughed, right? Because they're doofuses. They're all retards. Pretender clowns with their epistemology from Wiki. That's it. Period. And the buck stops here.
We know.
I wanted to make a joke. I wanted to make a joke. I mean, it was brilliant, though. We have to applaud him as the character he is, because we all know he's an umpy, right? But did you peep how he was like, come on, Quantum, I just want to finish, please. And then as soon as Quantum was quiet, you dickhead. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like it was going positive because I've talked to Jem in the past, and it really about the virus and stuff. So I kind of felt like it diffused the situation the first time, but the second time it just seemed like he wanted to go toxic, and there was nothing going to stop him the second time. Like he was bored with the conversation, it was going to run away the first chance he.
Well, like Jedi said, like we were all circling around the same point. And he was just trying his damnedest not to answer it.
Yeah, like it's the idea is like saying I don't know to them. It's like at some point, if they say I don't know, they think that's somehow in the mission of defeat. Instead of saying I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for you because I just don't know. They just can't say I don't know.
He admitted.
He just said
that he is not interested in proving anything to us or anybody. He doesn't care about proving anything, so I don't even know why he's in this debate.
He just said that an image from space, like Pluto or something, is the same thing as a image of your house or the beach.
Well, wait a second. He said earlier that you couldn't prove anything but in mathematics, so he contradicted himself because he's a numpty dipshit.
Yep.
That's why. Who's the next baller in line?
The coach is here.
That fire was kind of scary. I'll show that side of you, Quantum, in a minute.
Coach Show, sir. Please provide one shred of scientific evidence for your spinning ball-tard space monkey religion right frigging now. I want the observed natural phenomena, dependent variable. I want the independent variable. You don't have to do it. And I want the experiment that validates your fairy tale religion right now.
Gravity.
Gravity.
Is that Kosho to saying gravity?
No,
that one word response?
I was saying, I'm sorry, Kiwi. That was me. I was making a joke about gravity. It grabs things, like it grabs it and pulls it down.
Hold on. Let's go with Kosho though. I'm not asking you. I'm asking Kosho.
Yeah,
he's silent.
Yeah, he's being silent.
Let's go.
He's not
in this form. You have to validate your claims. That means scientifically or logically, you have to validate them. No making shit up. We don't want to hear what you think. We don't want your opinions. We want you to validate it.
Can you see?
Let's go.
Osho's responding to you in text.
I ain't responding in text.
Okay.
Feelings don't count either. I don't want to say he needs to get in here, but I mean, he's been crying to. I'm not going to tell my source. He's been crying to people in here to get in here. He can now get on mic and, make his stance for this love of the globe he has. I'm really curious to see if you have any new arguments, because I do, buddy. Step up to the mic.
Let's see. We have, is this rolling through? Is this on the live stream where people can see the evidence?
Everything's been recorded. Yeah. I even made a post over here. Oh, let me just read.
Okay. Well, Kosho, let me say it again. Please provide one shred of scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion. We're going to need the observed natural phenomena, which is the dependent variable, the hypothesis, which includes the independent variable, dependent variable relationship, and then we're going to need the experiment. It doesn't have to be done by you. You can go get it. Please post that right here for the audience, for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to evaluate, please. Thank you.
A jury of your peers.
Not here to step up. We got other Globers in here. We got Carnivore and Eamon E and Huey, as far as I can see. So if one of y'all want to step up, that would be cool.
You guys made me cry last night.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk to someone else.
Did you go get a Kleenex and take care of that? Are you back now? Like, are you still crying, or
no?
You came back with bulletproof or not?
You're not the first one. Many people have cried about this, so don't worry.
You want to take up where Gempanda left and demonstrate to us that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Guys, I'm not made up for this. I feel so bad for these guys. I'm trying to be tough.
I cried once I figured out how much they were lying to us. The NASA lies, the science lies. It's deep.
I've got
I'm still waiting, by the way.
Glober application.
For
Do you
what?
want me to post that?
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm still waiting, by the way.
Yeah,
You're
Kelly,
waiting
if
for
you could,
Kosho. You're gonna stay waiting for a little while.
if you could post your Globe Earth application, that's even better, because it's going to like.
Posted his proof to you. He posted his proof to you.
I'm not looking at. I'm looking somewhere else. This is. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. It's between. Is it between me and Kosho, or is everyone going to chime in?
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you. I completely apologize for that.
I thought it was a simple question. I thought it was reasonable. I've been told for close to 5 years now that to believe in the flat earth, which I don't believe, I know it, and I can show it. However, to believe in the flat earth, that I have to deny all of science and physics. That denotes that they have scientific evidence for their fairy tale spinning ball space monkey religion. I have no problem. If you can provide scientific evidence, I can go home. I can stop.
Sure.
I got other things I can do. Is it unreasonable for me to ask for scientific evidence for their spinning ball space monkey religion?
No.
So please, I'm not looking in text. This is a voice channel. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely right. So if Kosho's not in here at the moment, we're going to have to move on to someone else.
Unless he can support, if he can support something that he states after he provides the observed natural phenomena, dependent variable, independent variable, that is the hypothesis, and then the experiment, he doesn't have to do it. It's already, my word, since 1500, since Copernicus, this has been a spinning ball space monkey religion. So give me the fucking evidence right now.
Anyone? You need to calm down there.
I got you, man.
Sound
I'll be
upset.
Damon, you got anything for that or nah?
Nah, he's screamy. I don't talk to people like that.
If you had the evidence, then
take your
maybe
snotty
he wouldn't
little
scream.
ass, dude. Take your snotty little ass and find somewhere else, dude.
They have another room.
Why would somebody want to talk to somebody that just
Hold on a
screams?
second.
They've been lying to our kids. It's called passion. Don't you dare come for Quantum and his
That's not passion.
And try
That's not
to
passion.
listen. They are lying to children. Mind you, stealing children, but we won't even go into that. And you want us to be calm about your ignorance? Don't get me started, because it's not 12 o'clock yet.
If you feel that I'm being unfair, there's a room directly above. It's called the live stream. Live stream voice text. You can go up there, and then they can give you some Kleenexes. Down here, this is the arena. If I hurt your feelings, I'm so sorry. Please put sugar on top. Please provide one shred of scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion. Please. Thank you.
Sugar on top.
Now,
With sugar on top. Sorry.
if you didn't look at the text, Coach says he's getting dinner, so I guess he'll be in here at some point. But I don't know.
I've been asking that same
I
question.
think you said he had to deliver dinner.
I want that verifiable proof that we can't never seem to find. I want that verifiable proof, not some BS, man.
Yeah.
It should be easy.
It has to be there. It has to be there because they talk about it.
Well, we do have another Glober in here named Carnivore.
Real that it should be easy as fuck for them to do it.
Yeah, we got another
Carnivore.
Glober named Carnivore.
You're another one, right? Carnivore. So Carnivore and QE. Carnivore, please, with sugar on top and flower petals flowing over your head. Please provide one shred of scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion right now. Or leave.
I guess would be the third option.
Carnivores can be globetrotters.
Is that an unreasonable question, Carnivore? Seems the swan has got it seems the swan has got your tongue. Do you want me to provide evidence of the death of the spinning ball space monkey religion? Do you want me to do that? And we can go over that? Carnivore, give me something. Hello? Something.
We'll keep calling him out. No worries. If he's in the arena, I'm going to keep calling him out. If he's not by his microphone at the moment, I'll give him a chance. Come back to him in 5 minutes. You won't have every chance in the world, though.
He had to go poop.
You know what's funny? I haven't heard anyone actually deal with, like, they are really careful at not running into any of the landmines that is actual evidence. Like, I've heard about space. As a matter of fact, I think that's pretty much all we've spoken about so far, right?
Pretty much.
No, we spoke about what evidence is and what proof is, and what this nonsense as well.
They always go to space because they don't want to give it up.
We spoke about your definition.
Hey, OJ Swanson, we're gonna have to do a GoFundMe for your mic. You're killing me, man. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Evidence is proof. Proof is
How
evidence.
else would you know me, Quantum?
Do we need Yeah, right. Do we need a citation to show that evidence is proof and proof is evidence? Do we need to lower ourselves? That I have to provide citation for something that is prima facie, self-evident, indubitable, friggin' second grade crayon muncher, right? Do I need to do that? I can do it. I'm prepared. Do we need that?
To do it for the global.
So evidence is proof. Proof is evidence. By definition.
All day long.
Let me post it. Let me post it in here because I know there's some problems. You think I'm making it up, right? No problem. Because it's not what we feel, right? It's what it exactly is. All right. So I'll post it in here. What?
I just want to give you a Kleenex for all the years that no one else has, because literally it's ironic that you provide sources and they literally tell you that you're lying to your face, and that's all you do. I'm sad for you, bro.
That's the irony of it, right? He provides a link for this dude as a reference, and he says, "Oh, that's your opinion." Like,
right?
What?
No, Gempanda. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah, coming from Oxy.
Provide evidence for everybody.
Hold on a second. Yeah, that's my opinion coming from Occidental University, right? From a PhD in chemistry that actually changed the definition of entropy to what it correctly is, right? And it's my opinion. Yeah, that's all he can say because he's a doofus. Now, let's go over what evidence and proof is. Evidence, these are simple definitions, right? Evidence from Merriam-Webster, an outward sign, indication, something that furnishes proof. Proof definition, evidence. Proof from Collins Dictionary, test by experiment. There you go. Evidence is proof. Proof is evidence. I have my support. It's as plain as the nose on your face. Can somebody please refute that? That's what I thought. Next baller. Carnivore. Are you still with us? Yeah. I would suggest you stay on mute.
I'm also sad for Damon, who kind of said pick me, and we were like, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, so like a baby room that we can send these people down to, like baby steps, that we can maybe get someone in the beginner's class or something like that.
They get that room right above this one. It's called live stream voice text. They can just move on up in there and it's okay. So why are you taking up space? You won't even say a word, right?
That's it.
Didn't they tell you over at Gempanda's server that QE was a pushover? You could easily refute him, right? I'm sure they said that. Well, come on. Come in. The water's warm. No sharks. Let's get real.
No,
because this argument's over. This is barely palpable background noise, and I'm your Huckleberry.
It's okay. This has been coming for a
Carnivore.
while. Jim. Yeah.
Excuse me, Stacy. Carnivore.
Yeah.
Please forgive my rudeness. I'm a worm.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands.
Where's the next baller? Carnivore Kosho, which I toe tagged. He's in my toe tag list, by the way. Just see my playlist. Anyone else?
Where's all the maggots? Where's all the maggots falling away to?
I'm sorry, I was stepping all over you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just asking, where's all the maggots? Maggot time. It used to be maggot time.
It's funny. It's funny that Soda, Kosho, and Jim all left at the same time. They're all gone.
Yeah, exactly. The same time.
Granted, a couple of blow-ups, but we're not mean. We're not rude. We're not here to obfuscate anybody's points. We're here to hear you out. I have a shoulder for you to cry on and an ear to talk into. I promise you, I will give you at least one.
Yeah, one. The mic stops
nice New
working.
Yorker. I don't have no fucking tolerance for crying and bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's happy hour. It's happy hour for the maggots. So let them.
It's a Queens versus the Bronx, right? Is that how that works?
Well, it's pretty sad that a man can yell at a woman, but a man can't handle a man yelling back at him. Are you freaking kidding me? Jim needs to get a serious grip. I'm serious. I'm very serious on that. Can't wait.
I sat and explained the Coriolis effect to Gempanda numpty dipshit 3.5 years ago, step by step for over an hour and a half. He still has the video on it, by the way. Just go back to the beginning. It was so bad that Timmy Osmond, was in there and was laughing at him. Remember that, Gempanda? You, sir, are a retard of epic proportions, and your Elmer Fudd sophistry and over talking everyone ain't gonna fucking make it anymore. You hear me, sister? You're done. This argument's over. It's been over for 5 years. This is just, like I said, barely palpable background noise, but we have an audience that would like to hear your scientific evidence for your spinning ball space monkey religion, and no one's stepping up. Why is that? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, why is that? From 1500 Copernicus, tell us where we live and the nature of our reality. This should be a slam dunk. I should be finished.
It's because he's dishonest.
Well, he
Have a song? Come on.
Well, we're globetrotting on them now, right? I mean, we're globetrotting, freestyling, doing what we want. I'm talking about rainbows and moon phases, all types of different stuff. I'm moonwalking on them.
You should moonwalk on that mic.
Actually, Quantum, I believe he is in the bathroom while he talks to us over here around this time.
That is, why do you know that?
Everybody. I'm sorry if it was supposed to be a secret.
Because that's that I'm smoking in the bathroom sound, bro.
Yep. That pretty much.
Come on, bro. I'm from New York. I know.
Moonwalk on that microphone.
That was a low blow.
Hey, this is a family show.
Is it PG-13? No, it's PG-18, right?
It's 18. If you have to click 18.
This is not family show.
Oh, that's right. We're in the arena. We're in the arena. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead and ask the next question.
It's good to hear Quantum get all them frustrations out.
He was holding that for a week.
Yeah, he's been holding back his whole
I can't
life.
lie. I came in here
man,
screaming at Gempanda in like 5 minutes, man. I just let it out too. It's like, yeah. Great.
Oh, no. I needed that. I've been asking for that. That man's been on my page talking shit to me and everything else. Is talking about my boyfriend's a piece of shit and everything else too. So now I wanted to call him out on that right on live stream and how he played Sven and everything else. And he admitted it all. Go ahead, buddy. You're a liar. Now you lied on my stream now too. Just called you out and showing you what you were.
Did that dipshit say that so many people? Hold on a second. Did that dipshit say, because I heard what he was going into right before I entered. I shut down the YouTube channel. And did he give you the excuse of millions or billions of people know the second law, which he doesn't know? And why would they, remain silent? Did he give you that argument?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gempanda, listen to me. You fallacious frigging numpty dipshit. That's an argument from silence fallacy. That's all you got is fallacies. Sometimes you're stupid, too stupid to even give a fallacy. Just so you know, I'm out here waiting for you. Come on back in here. Water's warm. And bring anyone from your channel. Bring anyone in here to face me. One-on-one. Here it is. All you've been talking about is QE does this and does that. And friggin' Kleenex QE is wrong. Kleenex sniffle, right? Come on in here. Here I am. Get in here.
Kleenex sniffle.
He's gone for the day.
That's the other irony, you know. Every time I go,
He makes me afraid to want to be a Glober.
I've outgrown Jim server. I used to try to go over there just to talk to them, but like it just, you know, from human to human, but they can't even do that. So it's funny because anything I say out of my mouth always goes back to you're a Nathan Oakley quantum eraser puppet. I've seen them tell that to people who are total strangers. But you are right here. Come on, Globers. Prove them wrong. Take our profit. Please, Globers.
Money down on his response to how do you have gas pressure without a container on fucking quantum eraser and Nathan Oakley. I should have put money on that because I'd have been fucking rich by now. I knew that was going to be his answer. How do you have gas pressure without a container?
Yep, that's a genetic fallacy.
So the new argument now is I want to see it absolutely written down that the vacuum of space is a second law of thermodynamics.
The other thing is, I'm not interested in that.
Printed in full English paper before they can accept that. He can't make the logical jump of what John posted as a citation, that gas expansion into a vacuum, because that's what the fuck we're talking about, right? That's the increase in entropy, and he just can't make that logical conclusion. He has to have it written down.
He wouldn't understand it. He wouldn't understand it anyway.
Oh,
friggin' doofus.
Bro. What's a reputable source, by the way, for what he's looking for? Harvard peer group.
But
anything that agrees with him, and as soon as he got pushed into a corner, show me anyone that agrees with you. This isn't agree disagree genre. If you want to go to agree disagree, you go over to a cake decorating forum or whose favorite color is the best forum, and you plant your dumb ass there. This is empirical. This is objective. This is our reality. It's not agree, disagree, subjective horse shit. This is empirical, objective. So get with the program or go home. Over.
Oh, he went home.
Yeah, he went home and took his ball with him. I'm so sorry. Was that too snarky? I didn't mean to be.
QE let the air out of the ball.
Yeah, so they took his ball.